Stations.
Oh, yeah.
It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you for the next 3 hours. No Johnny Hill. He's out the entire week. He's down in Mobile covering the Senior Bowl this week, which has been fun. Senior Bowl practice I saw it on yesterday on NFL Network. Today it's been on ESPNU and ESPN2, so it's been fun to watch. He's also, if you want more coverage, he's been posting on his social media accounts a lot of stuff down there, so go check that out. But we got a lot to get to today. Game day again for the Memphis Tigers as they're back at home for a game against Rice tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll talk a lot about that. We'll talk a lot of basketball today. A really good night in college hoops last night. Some really intriguing games. So we'll talk a lot of basketball in the next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm great on this last day of January. What a beautiful day. Not as warm as yesterday, but still very nice. Yeah. Now think about our temperature big swing. So it was roughly 2 weeks ago today that for a long time that morning it was 1 degree. For the sake of math, let's say right now it's around 51 degrees. Okay. So 50 degrees warmer.
Crazy.
What if in the summertime we went from 70 one day to 120?
Yeah, no thank you.
Never would happen. The swings to the cold are always much more dramatic than the swings to the high. And this morning, I don't know why, but I stopped on, I guess to get dumber, I stopped on the Today Show, and they were doing a big feature story on record cold this winter in?
I don't know. Where?
Alaska.
Oh, how about that?
There's some breaking news, isn't it?
It's cold in Alaska, Brett.
I really turned it on there to see Mr. Roker cooking, but I was disappointed.
What did he cook today?
But I kid. But good Lord, to do a story on cold in Alaska.
Yeah, I mean, tell me something I don't know. But
and it's never approached being 120 here. No. Hottest I ever remember was 108 in the hottest summer ever, 1980.
Wow, 108. That's pretty toasty. But no, it's a beautiful day outside today. And I was sitting outside earlier and just kind of enjoying it, especially after all of that cold that we had to deal with. And now this is pretty nice.
Pretty nice. A little bit cooler than yesterday,
sure.
But going to stay nice the rest of the weekend. Tonight, for people wanting to go downtown and go to the Tigers game, really, much more comfortable than it was on the night a few weeks ago. I think 2 weeks to the day.
Yeah.
Encouraging. John Hart just texted me, it's cold in Alaska.
Sure is.
Yeah, that's right, John. Yeah, right. yeah, that's good. That's funny. But encouraging people not to go. Tonight, we're encouraging people to go. And on the night we're encouraging people to go, it might be less people there than on the night we were encouraging people not to go.
Yeah, no, it's I'm interested to see what the attendance looks like and how many people show up. I know they're doing a lot. This is their throwback game tonight that they're kind of selling it as, and they're doing a lot of stuff, kind of throwback style stuff. So
tonight's the night that and I haven't in a long time, but if I slipped and said Memphis State,
you'd be fine.
I don't get hate text.
No, you'd be perfectly fine today because it is Memphis State. I'm pretty sure they're wearing their Memphis State uniforms,
which
they're
I
throwing
love.
It back. They've got I think.
And when I have slipped in the past, it's only because it was all I knew for so long.
Right.
It was never anything defamatory.
Right. Yeah, I think they are the game program today is like a throwback game program where it's like one from back when Larry Finch was the head coach, and it's Penny Hardaway kind of with the same style of what Larry Finch's was. So
I think I saw a graphic that was kind of trying to be
I'm sure you
80s.
did. I'm sure you did. They're doing a lot of throwback
90s
stuff.
Because Penny was in the 90s.
Yeah,
91, 92, 93.
So it should be a fun atmosphere tonight, and hopefully the Tigers can bounce back 3 in a row. We know how important this game now becomes at home. We're going to do Tiger Bankroll later in the show, but it's been jumping around between about 14 and 15 all day, and so it's a big line, and we'll see what the Tigers can do at home tonight.
You know the great. I know you've seen it because they reprised it after Penny got the job of like the big size, like it's a penny with his picture on it, like instead of Abraham Lincoln. The assistant sports information director at the time, but he did basketball, was a great guy named Mark Owens who left here to go to Middle Tennessee, and I think he's still there. But he did that and gave those out kind of as publicity, I think, for the second year for Penny, for National Player of the Year, things like that. And I saved mine, and there hadn't been many times that I have violated this, but, you know, in the media world, and this is true because you really shouldn't for a couple reasons, because you got access nobody else has, and they don't want to be bothered by you. But I have violated it 2 or 3 times, and I got mine autographed.
Oh, wow!
And he autographed it, Anthony Hardaway.
Wow!
And it's somewhere, and I can't find it. But Mark Owens is the one that came up with that really creative idea. And there have been some great stuff out of that University of Memphis Sports Information Shop. You know, Jennifer Rodriguez, everybody lovingly, affectionately called her J-Rod. She did the car. The NASCAR for D'Angelo. Yeah. I didn't get one of those.
No. I loved the race car for D'Angelo. I had a little like model of it when I was younger, so that was my favorite for sure.
But that was a big hit when he did that, and you know, and for a great player that tonight faces a really big game. The Tigers they're going to beat Rice tonight. I don't know if they have to roll it up on them, but we know what likes blowouts.
The net does, Brett.
The net does.
That's right, and the Tigers have been slipping in you know all sorts of metrics, but net has been one of them, and we saw that jump that they had after that huge second half against Wichita State a couple weeks back. And so if they can do something similar to that and come out with energy, come out with intensity, and keep that foot on the gas for the full 40 minutes and look up in you know a 25-point win or something like that, that would be a pretty big boost to the net.
It would be, and tonight Rice will play as 248 in the net. The Tigers at 68 in the net, but still in all the bracketology. And I said yesterday, starting next Monday, we'll start our visits with Shelby Mass from bracketwag.com. Today, Shelby did a kind of a complete scrub, and he's got the Tigers as an 8.
Okay.
Yesterday, a 7. I didn't see the Tigers lose last night. I don't know why I dropped, but whatever. We'll get him to explain that. And I know other teams played, and other teams won, and it has Ole Miss as an 8, and that's what they were yesterday after a win.
Wow, interesting. So I'm excited to start talking brackets with Shelby next week. It's always fun getting his insight. I'm also excited. You know, later we'll talk to Kevin Sweeney, and he hosted for the Field of 68 yesterday, or a couple days ago, I think Monday, their bracket show, and their bracket had Memphis as a 9 seed playing St. John's, and so I'm curious to hear
in that neighborhood.
In that 8-9 neighborhood. So I'm curious to hear, Kevin, what they said on that show of Memphis being a 9 seed.
The net loves them some Tennessee, don't they?
They sure do, and
Tennessee can do no wrong in the net. They score 59 and lose at home to a really good South Carolina team, but it was at Thompson Bowling, and they only mustered 59 points, and Dalton Connect had 31 of those.
Yeah.
And they dropped 1 spot in the net from 4 to 5.
How about that? Yeah, it's interesting to look at how the net deals with different things, and I did not know about that. I'm just now learning about that. That is shocking. But really, for South Carolina, might be in terms of resume-wise, on paper, metric-wise, might be the win of the year. I mean, getting a road win at Thompson Bowling against this Tennessee team was a massive, massive win. I mean, a 14-point dog, I think, something like that, in that neighborhood, 14-15, and going in there and getting the outright win. And really, it wasn't like, you know, they just went down and sank a last-second shot.
No, I mean,
they controlled that game. Very impressive.
They sure did. They controlled most of that game, most of the night, and they were the better team, and they got the win. I never thought Tennessee was coming back. Did you?
No. Even I think late it got close. Tennessee got really close, and maybe like a 3 or 4 point game with about 3 minutes left, and it just never seemed, to me at least, because it seemed like every time South Carolina got the ball, they were extending that lead. They'd make a shot, and anytime Tennessee got in striking distance, South Carolina had an answer, and it was really impressive. B.J. Mack, who he didn't lead the team in scoring, but had a really good game. The transfer from Wofford has been really good for South Carolina. It was a fun game to watch South Carolina. I haven't seen a ton of South Carolina this year, and so really fun to see what Lamont Paris has done over there.
Yeah, I hadn't watched them that closely. Going to see a lot of them over the next little bit, because a week from last night they will play Ole Miss, and that will be a real big net bracket seed line type game. It's not the end all be all, but it'll be. And then I think they meet again in Oxford, and Ole Miss with the big win last night over Mississippi State, and really one of the better games I've watched this year, regardless of the outcome. That was a great, fun game to watch.
Yeah, a really, really good game, a really back and forth game, and a great atmosphere for Ole Miss last night. I mean, that's what jumped out to me, is what Chris Beard is building with the success on the court, and the students, the fans, they're responding, and I have not seen, it's been a really long time I've seen an Ole Miss home atmosphere like that for basketball.
That's the great point. In a long time, it can be done.
Yeah,
it's been done, but it's been in fits and starts, and it's always hard to sustain it and keep building on it. I mean, way back when Bob Weltlich with Sean Toohey and Elston Turner and some really great players kind of got the modern era going. Yeah. You win and then kind of have it would recede a little bit, and then win. Rob Evans, just the great job he did with Keith Carter as a player, and then it kind of settles back down. And now for Chris Beard and Chris Jans, both, it's been done more consistently at Mississippi State through the years. Heck, they went to a Final Four in 1996 with Richard Williams, and even had other really good coaches before and after Richard Williams. Kermit Davis Sr. was a good coach at Mississippi State. Yeah. But Babe McCarthy was a great coach a million years ago at State. And they've had others, but State has done it much more consistently than Ole Miss, and it feels like this time is the coach and the time to maybe have that consistency and have that kind of crowd that was truly close to an impossible ticket, certainly full, and electric atmosphere for that kind of game. And today with that win last night, Ole Miss now with 3 losses out of 362 teams in college basketball, only 6 teams with less losses than Ole Miss. There are 6 2-loss teams. Houston, UConn, Purdue, Utah State, McNeese, and Grand Canyon.
Wow. That's a really good group to be in. I mean, and I mean, that's impressive. If you had told me any point during the non-conference slate that Ole Miss would be sitting this far into conference play with only 3 losses on the season, I would have said you're crazy. And it
I would have too.
Shows how much this team is buying into what Chris Beard is selling, and they're getting better. I mean, you can see it. If you go back to some of those non-conference games, just did not look great, was really just kind of getting there by the skin of their teeth. And, now they're improving each and every game.
But even in that non-conference, the narrow escapes, getting off to the big start and the upset win over Memphis, even with that, I still thought, get me to 10 league wins. Got to get to 10-8.
Yeah.
Brian, I'm still around that.
Yeah,
because the schedule is really brutal. Yeah. I mean, Auburn Saturday, South Carolina at Rupp.
No, I mean that it doesn't get easy, and that's kind of life in the SEC right now. Is
10-8 goes a long way.
It does,
because I'm thinking around 13-5, maybe 14-4 will be the one.
Yeah,
the 2 will probably be one less than that, 13-5 or 12-6. The 3 and 4 will probably be 11-7, 12-6 in tiebreakers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Around 10 or 11 could be that 5 seed. Well, that gets you a bye until – well, you play on Thursday. You'd play on Thursday as the 5.
Right.
And so the top 4 get the byes till Friday.
Yeah, I mean that'd be huge, and I think it's still there. But like you said, it's never easy in SEC play, and it's going to be a really, really tough stretch coming up over these next 3 or 4 games.
And that will be in my always trying to get people to get the terminology right. With a bracket, that's exactly what it will be. It will be a bye.
That's right.
You don't say an open date.
That's right.
In basketball when you have a bracket. An open date is in football when you're not playing because there's no brackets. You're not buying anything.
That's not a bye. Yes.
And I don't care how many people say it. It still doesn't make it right.
It's still wrong. Yeah, no. But some good games in the SEC tonight, and it's just going to be tough. I mean, even this game, and I'm sure we'll get to it later. It might be even where I beam to tonight. But Alabama on the road at Georgia is not going to be easy for Alabama. Georgia is an improved team, and I think that just shows from really top to bottom, you can never take a night off in the SEC. I don't think it's the best conference in college basketball. I don't even know if I'd say it's top 2, top 3 conference in college basketball, but it is a test every single night.
Yeah, I am not making it a case for it to be the top, and I'm not second. I think I probably could take up the third debate.
Yeah.
But I don't know how easy that debate would be, but it's good.
Sure.
It's
really
real good. Yeah. And tonight for Georgia, it's a perfect night, if any coach would ever dare mention it, for Mike White to go into his locker room and say, guys, all these bracketologists, and we're 78 in net, and we're not in over Charlotte at 96. We got work to do.
Yeah, you do. You
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Oh, we'll see him in a couple weeks, Brett. I mean, get ready for them. They're coming. So who knows if they'll still be top of the American then, but they're coming. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, we'll talk Tigers and their game tonight against Rice. We'll also have to get to Tiger bankroll as the Tigers looking to get back in the win column after 3 straight losses. They'll have that opportunity tonight at 7 o'clock.
And we'll see. We'll have our picks. We'll see what you pick. Johnny Hill has sent his pick. I'm going to give it away a little bit of a spoiler just because of the points. He got the Tigers winning the game because of the points. He's got Rice. If you go against the Tigers, it'll be the old saying during Watergate. When Nixon lost Cronkite, he lost the rest of the country. If the Tigers lose you and Johnny, it's been lost.
Yeah. I've said that. I have some friends that I've told people if Tigers losing them, it's not good right now. So it's a big game tonight. We'll make our picks in this next segment at 3:30. 3:45, we'll talk some Grizzlies and NBA. Some really interesting things going on in the NBA, and the Grizzlies, they're back in action with a back-to-back Thursday and Friday. So we'll talk a little bit about that. 4 o'clock, Blake Lovell will join us, talk some SEC and some college basketball from SEC 14 over on YouTube. Go check that out, and on Twitter. Blake Lovell does a great job covering basketball in the SEC. So we'll talk a lot of what happened last night in the SEC and also just the season in general. 4:30, we'll get into some NFL talk as we're just counting down the days until the Super Bowl. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Kevin Sweeney, who joins us every single Wednesday from CBB Central, will join us talk more college basketball. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're sitting in our family leisure studio where family and fun come together. Get over there for the floor model sale. All floor model patio sets are priced to move. Wicker sofa set, under $2,000. Closeout patio cushions, as low as $25. Pool tables, under $1,500. Theater seating, under $2,000. 4-person hot tub, now under $5,000. Infrared and traditional steam saunas, 25% off. Get ready for summer and purchase your above-ground pool now to get first in line for installation. And that special financing, it's still available over at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
Bryant and Brett, with you from now until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of our show at 901-360-8255. We're here until 6. We're going to talk a lot of basketball, a lot of Grizzlies, some NFL, Super Bowl with the off week, ready for the chaos that will start next week in Las Vegas. We want you to join us at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. The one and only Lexus dealership in town. You can call them at 901-334-9673. And you can drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, Brett, my top story of the day is the Tigers. They're back at home tonight against Rice. After that loss in Birmingham on Sunday against UAB, it's now 3 losses back to back, 3 in a row. I don't think really anybody saw that coming this year, especially in conference play. Yeah, maybe in non-conference when they had those 3 straight games against top 25 opponents. Maybe you could understand 3 straight losses, but conference play is a different story, and right now this team looks lost. They don't look connected between the teammates from team and coach. It just looks like a lot of issues. We talked a lot last week about this week off and how would this team respond. We thought, at least I thought, that they would respond positively, that defensively they would be more locked in, more engaged than they had been in the weeks prior, but it was the exact opposite. I thought very lazy defensively, not getting back, walking back, jogging back, loafing back, whatever you want to call it. They were not getting back defensively and giving wide open opportunities. And we're not talking in the opening minutes of the game against UAB. We're talking second half, late in the game when the Tigers are down and trying to get back into it, just not coming up with stops because of execution, because of effort. So tonight, they're back at home against a Rice team that is just bad. They're not very good. KenPom ranks them the 228th team in college basketball, 7-13 on the season, only 1 win in conference play, and that was 3 games ago against Temple on the road. They don't shoot the ball from 3 well, so Brett, you know what that means? They're going to have a career night tonight shooting the 3 against the Tigers. Now, they do have one player that is intriguing, Max Fiedler, who is second in the country in offensive rebound percentage this year. So something to keep an eye on because we know this Tiger team has struggled grabbing boards, and so especially on the offensive glass when we talk about second chance opportunities for Rice, he will be a big factor. He also leads the team in assists, so a big that can facilitate and work the ball around. Definitely a guy, he'll be out there, number 15 to keep an eye on for Rice, but this should be a fairly easy game for the Tigers.
Tigers have made a lot of big men and a lot of three-point scorers look great this year. Made Yaxel Rose from Guns N' Roses look like
That's right.
Lakeem Olajuwon Sunday. My top story, biggest game of the year is tonight for Penny Hardaway and the Tigers. Yeah, it's that big. A huge favorite against one of college basketball, if not the worst college basketball history ever, against Rice. They have no history. Tigers should win. If they don't, there will be no explaining it away. Last NCAA tournament appearance for Rice, 1970.
Whoa.
Only 4 ever, 1940, 1942, 1954, and 1970. Their 53-year drought is the 6th longest since the last appearance in the tournament. Last NIT was 2005. Wow. Last NIT win was 1993. The only NIT win was in 1993.
Good Lord.
2 NCAA tournament wins ever, and they both were in the zany loser bracket that we used to have in down regional bracketing.
Wow. Well, Brett, I'll be honest. I don't know if I count NCAA tournament appearances that happened in the 40s. It just seems like way too long ago. I don't know if I can count those.
The NCAA does. Here are the teams that are ahead of them in long streaks. Dartmouth, 1959. Went to the Final Four that year, Dartmouth. Tennessee Tech, 1963. Bowling Green, 1968. Columbia, 1968. Seattle, 1969. And Seattle played about 20 years moving to NAIA before moving back to Division I. And Rice in 1970.
Not a great group to be in.
Rice has never had a 1,000-point score.
Is that right?
That is right.
That is hard to believe. Wow.
Not top story of the day.
Well, that nugget right there could have been my not top story of the day, because that is incredible that a program has never had a 1,000-point score.
I got into it last night and knew they were bad, witnessed the futility for too long in the Southwest Conference, and was stunned. It makes their football history look like Southern cows.
Wow, that is incredible. Well, if you want to see that history tonight, FedEx Forum, 7 o'clock. I mean, wow.
And you know, if there are any Rice fans in town, we just made the whole carload of them mad.
Oh, that's right.
Because it's one carload.
You know, I was about to say, Brett, I'll risk that. You know, I'll take it, whatever. But my not top story of the day, I'm stick with college basketball. The night we had last night was really, really fun. It started with a 5:30 tip, South Carolina versus Tennessee, and this South Carolina team, especially lately, has been really, really impressive. A 63-59 victory for South Carolina over Tennessee. We talked about it a little bit before, but I saw this number, and I wish I had it. South Carolina right now is holding opponents something like 18.5 points under their points per game average. So defensively, South Carolina is playing great basketball. We saw it last week when they played Kentucky, and Kentucky right now, or at least before the game, was like second in the country in points per game, averaging something like 88.9 points per game, and South Carolina held them to a low output. Last night, same thing for Tennessee. Dalton Knecht was unbelievable. He's been great all season long, but outside of that, they really did not get much from anybody, especially their bench. Only 8 points from the bench, and that's something I'm noticing around college basketball. You're seeing a lot of these top 25 teams, I should say, rely so heavily on their starters and not get a ton of production from their bench unit. So a really good game and win for South Carolina. The other big game from last night was the win for Georgia Tech at home against North Carolina. Brett, if you remember, about 22 hours ago, I beamed to Atlanta, Georgia for Georgia Tech and North Carolina and said that this was going to be an intriguing game because Georgia Tech is better than their record looks and that they are getting better under first-year coach and former Memphis assistant Damon Stoudemire, and they played really well last night. A 74-73 win over North Carolina. Now that brings Georgia Tech to 10-11 on the season, only 3-7 in ACC play. But listen to these 3 wins in conference: North Carolina last night, Duke, and Clemson. Those might be the 3 best wins in the ACC conference.
It might be, and you're right about the depth out there. This is hard to ask of anyone, but tell me somebody that's really 8-9 players deep.
I looked into that actually over the weekend that you bring that up. I think on Saturday I only saw one team actually run out an 8-man rotation. It is very few. You're
seeing these box scores really condense the minutes. I mean, it's usually about 5 or 6 guys with double-digit minutes. Some with 20-plus minutes. But just the idea of 10, 11, 12-man rosters, it's just stuff to talk about in September when it's pointless and mindless. Yep. My not top story: Chris Beard should be in the mix for National Coach of the Year talk to go along with SEC Coach of the Year talk, but so should Lamont Paris at South Carolina. With those two were really the big stories last night in college basketball. Chris Beard in year 1, and he is getting it done. Lamont Paris in year 2 at South Carolina. You have to keep winning. Ole Miss Saturday against Auburn and Oxford. Next Tuesday against South Carolina in Columbia. Then at Kentucky. South Carolina this weekend at Georgia. Then at home against Ole Miss. And then home against Vandy. Both are playing for 4-5 seed range. For Nashville, both are playing for 6, 7, 8 seed range nationally.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be the SEC is really heating up, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch some of these teams and the teams that are kind of on that 7, 8, 9 range in terms of bracket and see them fight it out against each other because it's not going to be easy for any of them. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about the Tigers game tonight against Rice, 7 o'clock tonight at FedEx Forum. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Talk Top 25 ranked Memphis basketball is back at FedEx Forum Wednesday, January 31st at 7 o'clock for the Memphis State throwback game. Come out as we throw it back to the days of the Mid-South Coliseum. Memphis State t-shirts and exclusive Penny Hardaway poster giveaway for the first 3,000 fans. You don't want to miss out on all the fun of Memphis State Throwback Night. Purchase your tickets at gotigersgo.com/tickets.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78. That's Lamar. And the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
What's wrong? You look bereft.
I am bereft.
What is it?
Well, there's only 3 Central Barbecue locations. The original Central Barbecue on Central, it's closed.
Oh, don't worry, little buckaroo. The location on Central will be back before you know it and better than ever. Now, there's still the location on Summer. You love that one, right?
Yeah.
And there's still the Central Barbecue downtown and the Central Barbecue on Poplar. You love those too, right?
I do love those.
So you could go to those, and then when Central Barbecue on Central reopens, it'll be like Christmas, but with pork.
I feel better already.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21590, Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33010, Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, Happy New Year, dude. Hey, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Let's start the new year off right in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway 2024 Kia Forte LXS $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Got a big family? Get a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Plus a 2024 Kia Telluride LX $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36 months lease.
And every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
And stop by and see the all-new EV9 all-electric SUV. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMTMoriah.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's been a little bit slow over here on 40 East at White Station, trying to get up on that flyover as they do some road work around town this afternoon, trying to repair some of these potholes from all the ice storms and so forth we've had a few weeks back. Traffic's picked up even more here just in the last few minutes on 240 East from Mill Branch out to 385. 240 East over here at Walnut Grove has been pretty slow as well. Keeping an eye on this construction. Right now I'm looking at it. It's a little bit heavy at times. 55 northbound between Macklemore and South Parkway. Be careful up to that construction zone. A 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. They're online. Check them out. TomahawkCrane.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And tonight, Tigers back in action at home. FedEx Forum, 7 o'clock against newly AAC member and our old buddy, Rice. They're back in town and our first time seeing them in any sport, Brett. I'm sure everybody will be down there and have a warm welcoming for them.
Well, if it's a tough ticket, we got room for you,
That's
don't
right. We sure do. We've got 2 tickets and a parking pass tonight for Memphis Rice. So if you want to go cheer on the Tigers team to a victory, we've got that courtesy of Sissy's Log Cabin, our friends over there at Sissy's. They've been so nice to us and have provided a lot of Tiger tickets this year. So we'll take first caller if you want to go to the game tonight. FedEx Forum, 7 o'clock. See the Memphis Tigers. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a throwback game. I think they're giving out T-shirts before the game. I know they're doing a bunch of stuff for this throwback game. So if you want to go down there tonight and see the Tigers in action, first caller, we'll take it now. Call in and get these tickets.
There's somebody right there. Yeah. Boom. Just like that. The parking place in and of itself it is worth it and a great night to get out. And thank you so much to Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers. And we appreciate them. And you can stop by and see them during the Valentine's season for your loved one or someone that's very special to you, and look at the people that want the tickets. Okay, great. We're glad you want them. No need to call anymore. Bryant's tied up. He's going to have to get with the person that wins and get the tickets through him, how we do tickets now. And I couldn't begin to do that without Bryant. There's no way I can do it. I'm always shocked when they show up in my Apple wallet when I've hit all the right buttons and I have the tickets. But tonight, the Tigers with that 68 net on the court against Rice with the 248 net in a game that speaks for itself with what has happened the last few games out. But get righted tonight. Work a lot of things out. I was texting with a Tiger friend of mine earlier today. Tonight and Saturday against Wichita is get well and get well at home. Never mind what has been said. Never mind what the rankings are. Win these games against Rice and Wichita State. Go on the road to Temple. Road in any conference, it's to be valued, and then get back home and pay Tulane back, and then kind of reset your season before the 2 games in the Dallas area against North Texas and SMU. I will say now, win these games. I just want to split out of those games in the Metroplex against North Texas and SMU. Just get a split. I think over SMU would have more cachet. It sure would at the net for what that's worth. And I guess as much as we talk about it, it's got to be worth something. If it's not, why are we talking about it today much? Yeah. But SMU 38 at the net. And now you look back and that win over them 61-59 that we thought was dodging a bullet, getting lucky, that's a really good win.
Yeah, no, you are absolutely right. A huge win, and the way they won it was had to have it. And but a good win when you look back at it. And when you look at those 2 games, they're both going to be tough. And you look at this North Texas team, and I think surprising some people. And we talk so much about Texas Tech. We've talked about them a couple times this year, and Grant McCaslin, who came from
North Texas,
mm-hmm. and we know the defense that he runs at Texas Tech, brought that with him from North Texas. And I believe they made an interior hire. Ross Hodge, who's their head coach now, I believe he was on staff at North Texas before he was named the head coach. And,
Brian, I don't know that you can vouch for me, but I can get people in the Ole Miss world that could vouch for me. I wanted Grant McCaslin when they hired Kermit Davis.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Wanted it bad. And then when it was going the wrong direction for Kermit at Ole Miss, that was always my answer for the right guy. I fell in love with him that 1 year he was at Arkansas State.
Yeah.
And I promise you, I could get people to vouch for me. And now one thing I missed on him is I thought he was super young coach. He's not. He's about I want to say Grant McCaslin's about 51 or 52, isn't he?
Let's see how old he is. He does have a kind of a baby face, though. He's 47.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
that's not old.
No,
that's not old. But that's not. You know, that's not Josh here in first head coaching job at 36.
Exactly. Yeah. No, there are much younger coaches in college basketball, but you can see this North Texas team still has a lot of that defensive mentality, defensive first. We're just going to make this 40 minutes of hell for the other team, and that's carried over to their new head coach. And so they're going to make it difficult defensively, and then you got that game, and then you got to turn right around and play SMU. I mean, that's a tough back-to-back.
Tonight starts on the defensive end for the Memphis Tigers,
Absolutely.
and that was the cornerstone of what Penny Hardaway has built and what he believes in and what he knows wins championships. It starts on defense. You don't know when you're going to have that 3-point night like you had at Wichita State.
Right.
I didn't say lucky. You just had your night.
Sure.
You don't know when you're not going to have it. You know when you're going to have defense. Getting low and guarding somebody is every night. It's got to be ingrained in you, and the Matador defense is what has caused all this angst.
Yeah, no, defense has been really, really poor, and if you go and you look at a lot of the numbers, this is by far the worst defensive team Penny Hardaway has had since he took over, and I think a lot of people earlier were saying this is the worst defense he's had since his first year, because I think he was in like the low 50s, maybe even high 60s that first year. But now you look on KenPom and adjusted defensive efficiency sitting at 87 right now, and that is by far. I mean, there were some of those years top 5, number 1 in the country defensively, and that just has not carried over to this team. And it's a lot of miscommunications, a lot of just that Olay defense and guards driving by and getting to the rack, and it's been a real problem this year.
And then not somebody on the back end. We've all praised, and I think properly, Malcolm Dandridge and his role this year, but his stat line Sunday was not great.
No, and I mean nobody's stat line was great on Sunday, and but he has been one of those guys that you can look to and say, okay, he's going to have a good day, and so hopefully he can continue to bring that, because they need that. And maybe I was talking to John earlier today, when you look at on the other side and you've got a guy that is second in the country in offensive rebounds and grabs almost double-digit rebounds a game, this might be a game where you look down the bench and you call on Jordan Brown early and see what he can give you, because you know he can give you rebounding.
And if nothing else, I don't mean this but last line of defense, if that guy goes in, you put him on his backside.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And
you know who did that Penny's first year? If they broke through to the glass, Mike Parks.
Oh yeah. Oh, Brett, I could go through some of those guys on Penny's first team, Tubby's his second year team, that were very physical in the paint. There were a couple of them.
I come to love that team by the end of the year. Lost a heartbreaker in the AC tournament here at FedEx Forum. Love Jeremiah, but they bought in as the year went on. These defensive deficiencies, it's been everything. It's been not guarding out at the guard level. It's not guarding after they break through the guard level, and it's not protecting the rack.
No, it's just been really poor. And like you said, what do you think back? What was that? 2 games ago when Malcolm had all of those blocks, and that was huge. And then turn around this next game, and I think finished with 0 blocks against UAB. And so getting that consistency of a rim protector has just been something that they've really lacked this year.
Clark Kellogg always calls it around the cup at the 10.
Oh, yeah.
I
love it.
And you got to be good there. I mean, it's the goals, it's 10 feet. The court's 94. Free throw line's 15.
Yeah.
Big matters, and protecting the rim matters.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And so I wouldn't mind seeing Jordan Brown and maybe get him off the bench in the first half, see what he gives you out there, and maybe go with that. I also know we kind of talked about it yesterday. We asked Dave about it, but it sounds like there could be a change in starting lineups. I know Dave said, and I completely agree with him. I think the most logical would be bring Tomlin off the bench and have him start and move.
And he's got to play defense.
He does.
It can't just be on the offensive end for
That's
him.
right.
And it looks like he kind of prefers the offensive end, as most do.
As most do. And it seems like, a lot of these guys on this team and a lot of guys in college basketball right now prefer offense over defense. But you've got to have a handful of guys that and they had that guy in Caleb Mills earlier in the season that you knew was going to be consistently great defensively, and they just don't have that in anybody else.
I don't know that it did or didn't happen today, but you got to think at some point today or tomorrow even, Chris Beard will tell his guys, I can't get on you. We won big in front of the biggest crowd ever here.
Sure.
We beat our biggest rival. We gave up 82.
Yeah, it's one of those weird.
We can't do that again.
Right.
We can't risk that.
Right. It's one of those weird, times where you're like, I'm happy. We won the game. This was a very down the stretch, had to finish game. But also, 80 points is a lot of points in college basketball.
It is. Tonight, the Tigers are 14.5-point favorites. They are 7-13 this year against the point spread. I'm going to take Rice plus the 14.5 for $30. I say Tigers win 84-72.
Wow. You know what? I'll give them one more shot. I'll give them one more shot at home. I'll take the Tigers with the big line. We're playing at 14.5, right?
That's correct.
Okay, because I saw it. We talked about it before the show. I'd seen it at 15 earlier. Didn't love 15, but you give me 14.5. I still don't love it. But you know what? I'm going to give them one more shot. Maybe, light a fire and go out there with some intensity against a really bad Rice team. Put them away early. And we're talking about a 16-point win, 20-point win tomorrow.
It's going to be close. How much cash?
Oh, that's the question, Brett.
You're at $705 for the year.
Cow. All right, give me 25.
25. You'll either be at 730 or you'll be at 680.
I hope I'm at 730, Brett. I hope.
Whew.
It's been a bad
Johnny
year.
Hill.
It's been a bad
He's at 670 for the year.
Oh, man.
He risked 45 on Rice.
All right, so both of y'all on Rice.
So you are ahead of him running for Alumni Association president.
Hello, I'm here. I don't
You just
know.
gave your speech.
That's right. That's it. Tigers cover tonight. That's all I really need. But
I'm at 1370. I'll be at 14 or at 1340.
It's been a rough year, Tiger Bankroll, after such a great year last year. I just cannot believe it. But hopefully it's a good night for the Tigers tonight. Like I mentioned, 7 o'clock. That game's going to be over on ESPN Plus tonight against the Rice Owls.
You're 8-12 picking this year. I am 10-10.
Wow, 500.
Johnny is 9-11.
Wow. So, wow. All right. Well, that's not great for me, but good for you. Sitting 500. That's nice. Can't get much, you'd be better, but hard to be better than 500 when it comes picking. So, but it should be a fun game tonight. But we need to get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk some Grizzlies. We'll talk some NBA. That's next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I will not buckle to peer pressure and call Bell Tavern a sports bar. Bell Tavern, tucked away in Barbaro Alley behind 117 Prime, is a great bar. It's got the atmosphere you want in a bar. Not too bright, not too dark, not too quiet, not too loud, and it's got the ice-cold beer and the signature cocktails and access to the kitchen at 117 Prime. So Bell Tavern is first and foremost a bar, just because it happens to be the time of year when professional football happens to be having their playoffs, and yes, they'll be on the high-def TVs at Bell Tavern, but once again, Bell Tavern is not a sports bar entirely.
Looking for the most thoughtful, most romantic gift for the one you love this Valentine's? At Genesis Diamonds, celebrating love is what we do. Maybe it's a simple pendant, or maybe it's an exquisite, one-of-a-kind designer ring. Genesis can help you pick out the most memorable and special piece of jewelry for the occasion. And to make it even sweeter, now till Valentine's, whether you spend $199 or $199,000, Genesis will give you some chocolates, fresh flowers, and dinner out at no charge. It's a one-stop ultimate Valentine's experience. When you buy any piece of beautiful beautiful jewelry. We'll give you a bouquet of beautiful flowers, some yummy chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at Restaurant Iris. So join us at Genesis Diamonds. See our spectacular collection of rings, earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and more. Priced from $199 to $199,000. Let our non-commissioned experts help you find that perfect ring that'll warm their heart and, for years to come, be a symbol of your love. And we'll throw in the chocolates, flowers, and dinner as our treat. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds. On Poplar at Perkins Extended. Limited quantity. See store for details.
Is your home still not warm enough or running out of hot water? Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, and we've got exciting news for you. Introducing Choate's Carrier Repair Buyback Program. If you've had HVAC or water heater repairs in the past year, you're in luck. Choate's will credit your repair costs up to $1,500 with a brand new HVAC or tankless water heater system. Yep, you heard right. Just bring your repair invoice from the last 365 days and get ready to upgrade your home's comfort. Say goodbye to those chilly nights and inconsistent heating. Choate's has you covered with various low-payment financing plans, making your upgrade more affordable than ever. Imagine a more efficient and reliable system keeping your family cozy all winter long. And here's the best part. This offer is a substantial boost towards a state-of-the-art heating solution. Ready to take the next step? Schedule your free estimate by calling 347-8086. And remember, turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
When a cold comes on strong, try DayQuil's Severe Honey flavor. The daytime, coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, so a cold won't slow you down. Get back to your day feeling relieved, enjoying the delicious flavor of DayQuil Severe Honey. DayQuil Severe Honey flavor soothes your symptoms with a delicious taste. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, the Grizzlies aren't in action tonight. They're back tomorrow night at home against the Cavaliers. Then Friday, they turn right back around and host the Warriors Friday night. So a back-to-back for the Grizzlies. But they've been off the last couple of days. And, Brett, yesterday we talked about the Lakers and how it's kind of been a struggle for them, especially lately. They were on the road last night against Atlanta. They lost again, 138-122. They're now 24-25 on the season and 7-17 on the road. They have just really, really struggled in road games. And I think the highlight of the night, there's been a lot of rumors about a trade between the Lakers and the Hawks surrounding around DeJounte Murray. And the latest that came out, kind of update on that trade, was that it was kind of the two sides were focusing on DeJounte Murray and in return some pieces including D'Angelo Russell. And so last night D'Angelo Russell stepped up to the free throw line at one point in Atlanta and the entire crowd started chanting, "We don't want him," which I thought was hilarious.
Well, that was pretty clear. It has been rough out on the road for the Lakers, and they stay on the road.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night in Boston, naturally on national TV, the TNT early game. And then on Saturday night, prime time at Madison Square Garden, and starting tomorrow on, they're going to start playing that game up because the Knicks are hot.
Yep.
And kind of Knicks, New York-centric magic starts to happen, and LeBron James there. and then they have one more game on the road trip Monday night in Charlotte. So they don't head home until next Tuesday morning, and that could be after 3 more losses.
Yeah, it's tough, and they just have not played well on the road. Honestly, Brett, they have not played well outside of their in-season tournament run. That was
when
just,
it really mattered.
I mean, one to remember. I mean, there will be stories, there will be books, documentaries.
I got the coffee
it.
table books.
Oh, already? Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had already made them. So that's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. Can you still get a DVD?
Oh, I'm sure, Brett. I'm sure somewhere. You know, you go to those channels that are selling
Betamax.
them. And they've got the infomercials about them. Yeah.
That in-season tournament. That got you right there in your getting spot for sports greatness, isn't it?
It got me in my feels just watching the celebration and everything.
That and a bubble
it.
title. That's
sure
LeBron in L.A.
That's right. That's what it has been. So has not been good.
Tomorrow night's game for the Grizzlies. Yeah. That game is at 7 on a lot of schedules.
Yeah.
In the preseason, that was listed as 9 o'clock on TNT.
That's right.
Well, it's not going to be, for obvious reasons, it's not going to be the second game on TNT on Thursday night. That's going to be 76ers at Utah, and the 76ers are hurting now with Joel Embiid coming up a little bit gimpy last night and not playing in Denver on Saturday night. One other spot on the road trip he hadn't played. But the game tomorrow night in Memphis is at 7 and will be on Valley Sports.
Yeah, so that's a big nugget. I completely forgotten that they flexed that game out, and obviously we know that's going to happen with this team, and it's nothing personal against the Grizzlies. It's just
they can fall out of love with you as quickly as they fall in love with you.
Yes, they certainly can. But you mentioned, the kind of the situation going on with the 76ers right now, and Joel Embiid coming off his MVP win last year. Now we're getting close to that the 65-game threshold for league awards that a player has to play in, and he's getting very close to missing that mark. And it's been
didn't play in Denver, didn't play in Portland, didn't play a lot last night.
Yeah, so it's something to keep an eye on. And for Embiid, he has been really good when he's been able to be on the court. In this 76ers team, sitting right now at 29 and 17, been playing well. But on the road tomorrow night, that's gonna be a tough game in Utah. Utah playing much better than they did at the beginning of the season and kind of making some noise. So could be an interesting game. But we do need to get to a break and wrap up this hour. When we come back on the other side to start our second hour, we'll talk SEC. We'll talk some SEC college basketball with Blake Lovell.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
Some people just know bundling with Allstate means big savings. Just like they know the right ingredient means big flavor. They know honey on pizza is where it's at. And olive oil on ice cream is the cherry on top. And they know when you bundle home and auto with Allstate, you can save up to 25%.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Let's make this the new year to drive your new Kia home from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Bobby J's waiting to put you in a new Kia today. So come hit the road with 41 MPG Highway and 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or get 7 passenger seating in a 2023 Kia Sorento LX. We Gossett at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And if you want your new ride to be a 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we Gossett at $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Kia today, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21,590. Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33,010. Telluride RG 46-2822, MSRP 38,705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Grizz Nation, don't miss your Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow at 7 p.m. when they host the Cleveland Cavaliers on HBCU Night, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners. Arrive early as the first 3,000 fans will receive a Grizzly scarf. Secure your tickets today by visiting Grizzlies.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. They've been doing some road work out here for the last couple of hours in certain places around town. It's been a little bit slower than normal on 240 eastbound as you pass Walnut Grove, making your way 40 east over here at White Station, trying to get up on that flyover that's been really slow for the last 45 minutes or so. We've been watching it as traffic starts to slow down now in the Midtown area in that construction zone, especially northbound 55, making your way up between South Parkway and Macklemore. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk some SEC basketball, Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 14 over on YouTube. He joins us now. Blake, thanks so much for joining us. Really excited to talk SEC, and I want to start off with the exciting games from last night. The first one being up in Knoxville between South Carolina and Tennessee. South Carolina gets the big win on the road against a really good UT team. What was your biggest takeaway from that, and really your biggest takeaway from this season in South Carolina? We remember the South Carolina team last year really struggling, but in Lamont Paris' second season has really turned around and looking like one of the better teams in the SEC.
Yeah, guys, good to talk to you again. It was quite a performance for the Gamecocks, I would say, and I think, I've kind of labeled them as this. I don't know if they'll see this as a compliment or not. I think it should be, but I think they're sort of Tennessee. They weren't Tennessee light last night. They were better than Tennessee. They were Tennessee amped up a little bit, but that's kind of what they've become. And Lamont Paris has sort of made them the new team that teams don't want to play because they're very physical. They bump you around a lot, and I think like last night, like a lot of Tennessee fans saw, if you're not getting the calls you think you should get, and you play a team like South Carolina, you're in trouble because they are very physical. They play the game the way they want to play the game. They don't let other teams sort of dictate how the tempo is going to play out and all that. And, again, I think they sort of beat Tennessee at their own game last night, and I feel like that's what they did at Kentucky. Kentucky was a team that did not want to be physical. They did not want to get bumped at every, dribble or anything like that. And now that South Carolina's kind of found this identity, it's working against some of these SEC teams that just don't want to be uncomfortable. And for whatever reason, Lamont Paris has a team that doesn't mind, being the bit of a bully at times as the older group, and it's working for them right now.
And Blake, that was a Tennessee team that really played that bully ball in dispatching Duke from the tournament last year and last night. All the credit, and it should go to South Carolina, Lamont Paris. But I'm watching that game, and I have enormous respect for Rick Barnes. I like Rick Barnes. I know he's won at every stop, from George Mason to Clemson to Texas to Tennessee, a Final Four, coached great players. We know the moniker, though, second round Rick. Last year was third round, but getting bounced by FAU. They've been bounced by Loyola on their way to their Cinderella run. It's been too many teams that shouldn't be knocking them out of the tournament that knocks them out. And when I'm watching last night, I'm thinking, I know what this reminds me of, and I say this with the utmost respect. Reminds me a lot of Eddie Sutton, that it's such a grind on the offensive end. They're almost allergic to shooting, that they try too hard to get the perfect shot on a lot of sets.
Yeah, I think, Brett, you look at this team, and obviously, this year, the one thing a lot of us have said is, what's different? Well, they've got a guy like Dalton Connect, and certainly, you don't get guys like that very often that can kind of take over the game the way that he can, and it's why he's, likely going to be the SEC Player of the Year, could very well be the National Player of the Year by season's end. But, what comes with that? Knowing that he's going to have a bad game somewhere. And last night, if you didn't watch the game, you probably look at the box score and you're like, well, Dalton Connect scores 31 again. But in all honesty, a good chunk of that game, he's not the normal Dalton Connect that we've seen. He's not scoring. It took a long time to get there. He scored a lot of points in bunches down the stretch to at least keep Tennessee in it. But the problem is if you go beyond that, and it's like you just said, that's where last night, something we haven't seen a lot from this team this season, but it's been the theme over the past several seasons, is they did hit a stretch last night where I think they didn't have a field goal for 5-6 minutes, whatever it was.
Long stretch.
And you're just looking around like, well, who's he going to be? Because Connect's maybe not open, or he doesn't have the best shot. And like you said, maybe we can't get him the perfect shot. So who's it going to be? And it seems like, for whatever reason, you have multiple guys struggling right now. Josiah Jordan-James, he's not taking many shots, period. I don't even know if it's his fault necessarily. He's only getting 3 shots a game the past 3 games. Guy Ziegler didn't have his best shooting game. Vescoby's not really been a huge factor this year consistently the way that he was last year scoring-wise. So I think they've got to figure some of those things out. Jordan Gainey off the bench has been great. He goes 0 for 3 last night. So I think this was a bad sort of combination of everything for Tennessee offensively just going wrong. It hasn't been the norm, but I think it's fair, as you pointed out, to keep going back to this theme when you see games like this, because it is something that stood out the past few years.
James and Ziegler are combined 1 for 9 from the field, 0 for 6 for Ziegler, 1 for 3 for James. And again, it just all those nights I watched Coach Sutton, he loved winning 64-61, but when you play it that narrow, it can get away from you at the end as well.
Yep, it can for sure.
The other game last night in the SEC, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, a really good back-and-forth game, and Ole Miss pulls it out. What have you seen under Chris Beard? We were talking, Brett and I were earlier, about the environment that is built, and now you look up, and in Chris Beard's first year, 18-3 right now, 5-3 in SEC play, has really done a good job, I think, in his first year. What has been your biggest takeaway so far in the first year of Chris Beard?
Well, I say, the net may care how many you win by, but fans don't care how many you win by, as long as you win games. And Ole Miss is 18-3, and I don't know, whatever the stats they put on the screen last night about, are they 6 or 7-0 in games decided by 4 or 5 points or less, or something like that, fewer this year. So I said this before SEC play. I said, here's what's going to happen. They're going to lose some games on the road, like a lot of SEC teams do. They may get blown out, and sure enough, they did. They got blown out at Tennessee, blown out at Auburn. Played okay at LSU, but I said, here's the thing. They have put themselves in a position in those first 13 games of the season where they win all their non-conference games. By winning some of those close games, whether it's against the Detroit Mercy, who I haven't checked their record lately, I'm pretty sure they're still winless, or it's against a team like Memphis or UCF or NC State or teams like that, right? It's playing in those kind of games where they beat Memphis by 3, they beat UCF by 2 on the road. They beat Detroit Mercy, again, the team that's not won yet this season. They beat them by a single point on November the 14th. No matter the opponent, it is a team that is not used to winning. And I think it meant a lot for them to kind of gain some of that positive sort of momentum just by finding ways to win games. And now that they did that, you get in some of these close games here. The last two are a perfect example. The game at Texas A&M, they could have lost that game. They win by 3. Game against Mississippi State. State makes it interesting there. At the end, they find a way to win by 4 here. So I think that's been the biggest takeaway is having the full roster helps when we didn't know if they were going to have Brandon Murray or Musa Cisse or whatever. But now that they have both those guys, that's definitely helped their depth. But it's been other guys, whether it's, Juju Murray or TJ Caldwell had a huge game last night.
Huge.
And it's just the usual other guys, right? Morrell and Brakefield and those guys. So Ole Miss, talent-wise, I think is good enough to compete, with the top of the SEC. We're seeing that, even though they got blown out in a couple of road games. I still look at this team and say, there's a lot of upside there because they're shooting the ball as well as they are. I could have never thought that this team would be in the top 20 in the country at this point in the season in three-point shooting. But they are, and that's been a huge help. And, yeah, it's been a difference maker because of their ability to win close games. I feel like they didn't have that room for error the past several years. If they found their way into a close game, whether it's due to injuries or something else, they just could not find a way. This year, they're finding a way to win those games.
Blake, update our listeners on everything you have going in your very busy world, because when we first started visiting, I was so impressed by you. You cover SEC football, you cover it well, but basketball, I think you would say, and most say, is your thing, and not many people are out there being bold enough to take a run on kind of just being the SEC basketball guy because the football monster takes over. Update our listeners on everything you're doing.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Brett. I mean, again, all of our stuff at Southeastern 14, like you said, we cover it all, whether it's football, basketball, baseball. But, yeah, I mean, we love talking basketball. I mean, I don't know how many people out there every day are talking for, sometimes an hour or more just on the entire SEC basketball landscape. And we pretty much do that every single day, including doing live shows on Saturday night after all the games are over and all that. And so, yeah, we just have a lot of fun with it. And obviously, look, to tie it in, it helps that the league is in a pretty good spot right now. Like, it's in a much better spot than we probably, when we first started talking several years ago, Brett. Now, I mean, the league is just in a much better place in terms of seeing how all these programs, we just mentioned it, right? South Carolina and Ole Miss, like that's the lead, those two teams who have been consistently either, towards the bottom of the pack or literally at the bottom.
Wednesday night teams.
Right, the Wednesday night teams. And that's what makes this a lot of fun now is just being able to cover a league where it's like, hey, you've got all of these different teams. I mean, South Carolina is an Alabama loss away tonight against Georgia from holding a share of first place as a unanimous pick to finish 14th in this league. And that just shows you, I think, just how fun and exciting it is now to see all these teams, making their move, whether it was in Missouri last year or South Carolina this year and Ole Miss. It's just a lot of fun.
When you look at the SEC right now, and we've seen all of these top teams struggle at one point or the other in conference play, and that's going to happen in these conference games. But when you look around, in your opinion, who is right now the best team in the SEC?
Yeah, boy, okay, you'd asked me that yesterday. We all know who I'm
really,
saying.
Yeah.
It'd have been Tennessee, and I wouldn't have hesitated. But today, it's like, well, I mean, I will say this. I still think Tennessee may be the team that has the most upside. And the reason I would say that is, look, I've been higher on Alabama than most people have been this season. And everybody's pointed out the defense. Everybody was jumping off for it after they were 6-5. But I said, here's the deal with Alabama. They're just going to find ways to outscore teams. They may not be perfect defensively, but there's nobody out there that I see that plays offense the way Alabama does. And that's kind of proving to be true a little bit outside of just the shellacking they had in Knoxville. But I think still Alabama may be the team that if Tennessee were to continue some of this, struggles offensively and all that, maybe you start to look at Alabama because they've gotten much better defensively. They have improved on that side of the floor. They're not going to be as good as they were last year, but they're still improving there, and that's a positive direction to go in. Auburn, I know Auburn lost a couple road games last week, but I still believe in my mind that Auburn may be the most complete team in the SEC. Yeah. It's because of the depth that they have. They're the deepest team in the SEC, maybe one of the deepest teams in the country at this point. I don't know that I'm willing to write off Auburn just yet after a 4-point loss at Alabama and a 6-point loss at Mississippi State, two very tough places to play. Now they're starting to look at it and maybe have a little bit of Achilles heel. Same way, they can't shoot the ball. It's not as bad as they were last year, but they're still struggling to make shots. And then it's like Kentucky. Do you put them in that conversation? Well, I want to see their defense get a little bit better, but talent-wise, it's there. And you just want to be able to see them handle a physical game like they could not handle against South Carolina. So those are it's really hard to pick a team because, again, Tennessee would have easily been my choice. I wouldn't even hesitated yesterday if you'd asked that question. But after that performance last night, I think you've got to sit here and look and say, well, is it Tennessee? Is it Alabama? Is it Auburn? Kentucky? Maybe it's South Carolina. Maybe we look over the end of the season at South Carolina. I don't know.
Who is the coach you trust the most to win an Elite Eight game and punch a ticket to Phoenix to the Final Four?
Ooh, boy, that's a good one right there. An Elite Eight game, punch a ticket to a Final Four. That's a tough group to choose from. Honestly, I may go Nate Oates. It may not be the popular
Give me
answer,
Bruce
but
Pearl.
and it's probably between those two for me because I probably picked Nate Oates based on maybe liking Alabama a little bit more today than I do Auburn in terms of where the teams are at. But if you're just looking at it from a one-game situation, even though, again, I probably answered that more in the I'm seeing Auburn go 0 of 18 from 3. But Bruce Pearl has consistently, what he's done at Auburn, we always say it, right? It's something where
10 years.
Again, that's the thing. I just realized that, Brett, I was leaving this early in the season. I'm like, he has been there that long now. Like that.
I have to go double check myself before I say it.
It is incredible to think that he's been there 10 years. But what has he done, right? He's just consistently found a way. This was a team, look, I was not as high on this team as some people were going into the season. Like I said, I was high on Alabama, was not as high on Auburn. Because I looked at it and said, man, I think they're going to struggle to shoot, which they do. But I did not see the amount of depth that they have. But it's his ability to put together this roster and, have one where, they are sitting in a good spot despite 2 losses in a row. So I'd pick one of those two. I think that's the best choice for me.
Here's my decider on him, even over Cal, over Rick Barnes, over Buzz Williams, over Nate Oates, any of them. If it got down to it, not only to chew your arm off to win, he would chew his arm off to win. And I think he would just get down and out-scrap you, especially with that ticket to basketball's promised land that he's been to before. But for I still say a terrible call, he plays on the last night of the year.
Yeah, it's just what he's done there because we all remember where that program was at when he took over. And to see where it is now, it is there's no comparison whatsoever.
Talking to Blake Lovell from the Southeastern 14. Go check it out. We talked a lot about the top teams in the SEC, but when you look down at the rankings, I think a lot of people, if you showed them the rankings today before the season, would be shocked to find Arkansas near the bottom with only 1 win in conference play. 1-6, 10-10 on the season. What has gone wrong with this team? They bring in a bunch of transfers this offseason in the top 25 before the season started. What has been the biggest issue that you have seen with this Arkansas team?
Yeah, that's a loaded question, I think, in terms of just, looking at where this thing has went wrong. And, I know a lot of people maybe have different answers as to what they think the biggest reason is for that. But, the way I look at this is in this era where, transfer, NIL, everything that goes along with it, we see a situation where there are going to be teams that get guys back that you wouldn't have thought were going to get guys back. There are going to be situations where you bring guys in that you think are going to mesh right with the roster and all this other stuff, and it just turns out that's not the case. I just feel like this is one of those where, think about it, think of all the years we've talked about, the guy that led the way transfer-wise was Eric Musselman. He was the guy, Frontier, he was the man who was pushing new limits, he was doing all this, he was having more success than anybody when this thing first started. And he has been so successful at this every single year until now. And I just think that sometimes in this era, and I don't think Arkansas is going to be the last team we see to do this, is that, and look, you kind of group Missouri in to a different extent in this, where if you get a team, if you build a roster you think you should build it, whereas look at a team like Missouri, who 2 of their top 4 players this year were going to be their top 2 transfers, who have not played very much due to injury. One's out for the season, Caleb Grill, we don't know when he's going to play again soon, whenever. They're over right now. And obviously those 2 teams meet tonight and think about what's at stake and where they were last season versus where they are this season. And I just think it's one of those years where, for whatever reason, Muss has not been able to push the buttons that he needs with his group. And for whatever reason, when you looked at this team on paper and you saw all this upside, when you actually see them out there on the court and you see what each player, can do, maybe what the team values, all this other stuff, it's just not there. Like, they don't have the chemistry. It doesn't click together. Muss has played everybody possible that he can. I mean, he may be grabbing guys out of the stands tonight to try to play. I don't know.
Every combination.
He has tried everything he can. And I am willing to understand that even if you're an Eric Musselman who's had all this, remember, SEC team last 3 years, last team standing in Arkansas, he's pushed a lot of the right buttons. But if even he cannot figure out the problem with this team, then that obviously tells me it's something a bit deeper and something that he could not have anticipated in terms of when he put this roster together, thinking that this was going to be the result at 10-10 right now.
Blake, you cover it and love the sport. What you almost could copy and paste Eric Musselman comments, sadly, for Penny Hardaway here. Your thoughts on the Memphis Tigers?
Yeah, I mean, look, this was a team I was talking up a lot early in the season. I mean, I looked at different things they were doing well, and again, even in that, watching that Ole Miss game back in early December, watching them play A&M, and then watching the Clemson games, the Virginia games, and all those, and you're like, man, this is a very interesting team. And then it's even one of my colleagues said it, like it was one of the games even before the 3-game losing streak here. He's like, I don't know, man. There's just something that's off. Like it's not, for whatever reason. Like I'm telling you, they're about to start losing some games, and he called it because they've lost 3 games here. I know a couple of them have been close, but yeah, I mean it's like this is where Brett, like this is why you get paid the money. Is this type of stretch right here that Memphis is in. Is they don't feel like they should be here. They started 15-2. They don't feel like they should be on a 3-game losing streak to these teams in particular. And now you've got to find a way to right the ship. And that confidence is lower than it was when you were riding high on whatever game winning streak they were on before this streak started. And you just kind of got to go back to what got you there. And so I'm curious to see. I mean, it is a team that's experienced. It's got the tools, in my opinion. But it's just I'm interested to see how they bounce back because again, one loss turns into 2 losses turns into 3. That's when you start to look at this and wonder, all right, are they going to be able to kind of put it all together? And look, they should have a great opportunity to do that tonight against Rice.
But 3 turns into must win against Rice.
Exactly. That's the problem. Is now you're sitting in a situation where it's not like, hey, they should win. It's like, hey, they got to win. So
Yeah, it's been a weird couple of weeks for the Tigers. But, Blake, thanks so much for joining us. Always a ton of fun chatting SEC basketball with you, and we're definitely going to do this again soon.
Sounds great, guys. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Blake.
Thank you, Blake. Blake Lovell with us talking college basketball, a lot of SEC, but his thoughts also on the Tigers. Yeah. Tigers against Rice tonight. We got the tickets. Everybody squared away on the tickets?
That's right. We got them all out, and so, very, very seamless, Brett.
Good, and the parking place is great. I hope they enjoy it. There's compliments of Sissy's Log Cabin.
Spot.
Yeah, really great parking spot, and the Tiger fans will be there tonight. They need you. I mean, it's easy to be at the Clemson game.
Yeah, it's easy to be at Clemson.
It was so easy. I was at the Clemson game.
That's right. But when you're talking Rice, that's a little tough.
I called my shot preseason on Rice. I've seen them for the last time in person in my life.
I mean, I don't Rice, man. It's they're always around, Brett.
Football, any sport. I shall never see them again.
I'm telling you right now. I mean, I haven't looked at the Tigers baseball schedule. If they got a series against Rice at home, Brett, I'm going just for you.
Thank you. And now in baseball, have they ever won one at Omaha? I know they've gone deep.
They've been really good. That is the one sport that they have had a lot of success in.
Well, sometimes the saying around the athletics department, get good in something.
That's right. You got to be good in something. Oh, Brett.
That's what Vandy did.
Oh, Brett. On the road at Rice this year, no home series against Rice. Hate that.
Is Tulane at home in baseball?
Let's see.
Tulane for a long time said, okay.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of a scuffle. Let's be good in baseball.
Yeah, Tulane, a couple years ago, Tulane was really, really good. No, a road against Tulane.
Man, who are the Tigers playing at home?
I mean, really, great question. Wichita
East
State.
Carolina?
Let's see, East Carolina.
They're good.
Oh, home series against East Carolina. That's
there
big.
You go.
That's huge. Good week there. April 23rd, you got Mississippi State at home, and then turn around that weekend, you get a 3-game series against East Carolina.
That is a good
That's
week.
a good week.
Well, if the weather's favorable, that should be good crowds.
It really should be.
And a real growth opportunity in baseball.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm excited. I'm excited about this baseball season, Brett.
Excited about tonight. If you're headed downtown to FedEx Forum before you leave, check out one of the locations for Jason's Deli. There's one, I guarantee you, close to you, in Cordova, in Olive Branch, at Poplar and Highland by the U of M, and at Ridgeway Road across from MUS. All the great locations, and you're guaranteed this at every one of them. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing at Jason's Deli. Whether you're dining in, you're getting it to go back and watch on TV, or you're heading downtown to FedEx Forum, or delivered. They've got you covered. I ran into a friend of mine at the Grizzlies game Monday night that told me with his parents and his family that they went at dinner time, and I was so glad to hear that, because Jason's Deli reminds me to remind y'all it's not just a lunch place. It's all three meals. It's breakfast, lunch, and at dinner. Not as crowded often at dinner, and not near the carry-out real craze at dinner time like it is at lunchtime. Very busy with that, but it is good for all three meals. They've got you covered with a variety of delicious choices for breakfast, lunch, dinner, for groups of 5 or 5,000. If you're planning your big game watch party, let them do it. Same day and last minute orders welcome. They will make sure your event goes off well. All foods are free from dyes, artificial trans fat. It's good and good for you, bringing more to the table. It's a family thing with over 200 Memphis area associates. It's all about choice, regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, food that's good and good for you. You'll be delighted at Jason's Deli, and one of the constants in every location is that great salad bar where you can prepare it however you would like. Over 30 items to choose from. Plenty of organic food to choose from, and the salads on the menu, like the Big Chef salad, the chicken Caesar salad, my favorite, the taco salad. They've got them, and all the soups, all the breads, the spreads, the cheeses. Good and good for you at Jason's Deli, catering anytime, anywhere. Locations at Ridgeway Road, Olive Branch, Poplar and Highland, and Cordova. Catering anytime, anywhere, and complimentary free ice cream in every location. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. We're counting down the days for the Super Bowl, so when we come back, we'll talk NFL. Got to talk some Super Bowl notes, also some other notes around the NFL. We've got a coaching hire in Seattle. We'll talk about that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Is your home still not warm enough or running out of hot water? Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, and we've got exciting news for you. Introducing Choate's Carrier Repair Buyback Program. If you've had HVAC or water heater repairs in the past year, you're in luck. Choate's will credit your repair costs up to $1,500 with a brand new HVAC or tankless water heater system. Yep, you heard right. Just bring your repair invoice from the last 365 days and get ready to upgrade your home's comfort. Say goodbye to those chilly nights and inconsistent heating. Choate's has you covered with various low-payment financing plans, making your upgrade more affordable than ever. Imagine a more efficient and reliable system keeping your family cozy all winter long. And here's the best part. This offer is a substantial boost towards a state-of-the-art heating solution. Ready to take the next step? Schedule your free estimate by calling 347-8086. And remember, turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21,590, Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33,010, Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38,705, concludes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, Happy New Year, dude. Hey, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Let's start the new year off right in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway 2024 Kia Forte LXS 239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Got a big family? Get a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX 319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Plus a 2024 Kia Telluride LX 449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36 months lease.
And every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
And stop by and see the all-new EV9 all-electric SUV. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMTMoriah.com.
Getting your guaranteed maximum refund with TaxSlayer feels like saddling up and chasing down.
Look at that sweet moolah!
That big old cash cow.
Look at all that money!
File for free with TaxSlayer Simply Free and get your guaranteed maximum refund. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
At Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike, new inventory is arriving daily, and we've got what you've been looking for to start the new year off right. Get off to a great year in your award-winning 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $329 a month, or buy it for $29,910. Take a spin in your new 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $29,445, or lease for $449 a month. How about 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, 420 total range MPGe? You own it for $649 a month. Plus, no worries with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or online anytime, memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZ062,303 MSRP 44,355. Sport RU 001136 MSRP 28,000. Eclipse RZO 12051 MSRP 31,700. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Grizz Nation, don't miss your Memphis Grizzlies tomorrow at 7 p.m. when they host the Cleveland Cavaliers on HBCU Night, presented by Pinnacle Financial Partners. Arrive early as the first 3,000 fans will receive a Grizzly scarf. Secure your tickets today by visiting Grizzlies.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We got to talk some NFL. We're counting down the days to the Super Bowl, but that doesn't stop the hiring process. And Brett, we're getting really close to having all of these openings filled before the Super Bowl is over, which would just be incredible. And we know how these organizations move fast nowadays, but it would be something. Today, the news, Seahawks are hiring Ravens defensive coordinator Mike Macdonald as their new head coach, kind of a young guy that has done a really good job over these past couple of years with the Baltimore Ravens. It sounds like a 6-year deal for him to be the new coach of the Seahawks.
And here's the pressure on him. Go become the second coach in franchise history to go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough.
And win one.
Yeah, and it's really, really tough with all of the success they've had up there, over these last couple of years and the past couple, few seasons have been a little rough. But when you look at what the Seahawks, dynasty that was for a couple of years there, and with Russell Wilson, it's hard to follow that, and they've struggled these past couple years. And that defense, the Legion of Boom, and it's hard to follow that.
A defensive MVP in the Super Bowl that they won.
Yeah, hard to believe. And Pete Carroll got overshadowed, not kind of overshadowed. He got really overshadowed when he retired, and then later that afternoon, Nick Saban, or I guess he didn't retire, but he was out in Seattle, and then later that afternoon, Nick Saban retires, and then the next day, Bill Belichick, or 2 days, however long it was after that, Bill Belichick retires, and so not many people talked about Pete Carroll out at the Seahawks, and it's not going to be an easy man to come in right after and have success over and have people forget about him, because Pete Carroll is very beloved in Seattle.
And should be, and probably deserved better. Just lost the timing award over those few days with Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. But as I said then, he did what both of them did. Nick Saban won in college. Bill Belichick won in the NFL.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll did both.
Yeah. I mean, just incredible. And so
he had the dynasty in college that people were wanting to get to.
Yeah.
And Alabama and Nick Saban got there.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. And I'm really curious now that they have a head coach in Seattle, because Pete Carroll, the whole thing around him was when they, said he's out, they made it sound like, oh, we're moving him to, advisory role. He's still going to be within the organization.
No, when they have tears in their eyes, they're getting pushed out.
And so yeah, they tried to make it sell it at first like it was this great thing, and then we hear him talk and much different. But I'm curious to see, if he is still in the organization after this, or maybe, in a couple of months we hear he's out, or maybe in a couple of weeks we hear that he's no longer with them and is trying to get back into coaching somewhere. Maybe something similar with Bill Belichick of take the season off, maybe even stay with the Seahawks this season, and then next year see what's out there if he still wants to continue to coach.
And I'm there with what Tom Brady accomplished in his career and on Super Bowl Sunday. I'm there with him as right now the best NFL player ever. Patrick Mahomes making a big case.
Yeah.
But except for I think the offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell losing his mind on the goal line, the Seahawks go back to back, and that's one Tom Brady doesn't win. A lot of those Brady's wins could have been losses, and we know at least two, and even the Eagles game of the three losses, it could have been wins. Super Bowl 58 will be the 8th time we've had a Super Bowl rematch. Only one has met 3 times. That was Steelers-Cowboys meeting in Super Bowl 10 and 13, and then in Super Bowl 30. Dolphins and Washington meeting in Super Bowl 7 and 17. 49ers and Bengals 16 and 23. Bills and Cowboys 27 and 28 back-to-back out at the Rose Bowl Stadium, and then in Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. Giants-Patriots 42 and 46. The 2 Eli Manning upset wins over Tom Brady and the Patriots. Eagles-Patriots 39 and 52. Rams-Patriots 36 and 53, and the Chiefs and the 49ers this year and 4 years ago in Super Bowl 54.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see this game play out again, and both are familiar with each other in Super Bowl games, and so I'm really excited about this one, and I think
almost
a really good
could run the same game plans both sides, couldn't you?
No, you absolutely could. I think, and these teams, I think, both have really strong offenses, both have really strong defenses, and the
49ers had that game.
Yeah,
they needed Garoppolo one more good throw, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, just couldn't do it, and now maybe the 49ers can get that revenge. Still a favorite in the betting markets, which is I think surprises a lot of people. But it feels like to me, Brett, and I know a long time before we make our pick right before the Super Bowl, but I don't know, Brett. It just seems like everybody and their mother is hopping on the Chiefs right now. Feels like I might need to go with the favorite and go with the 49ers.
Man, you think I'm going to get out there and go against the Swifties?
Oh, that's a good point.
I think I might.
I might.
But I have no preference. I don't mind a bit if Patrick Mahomes gets his third, and we start the conversation of certainly to this point in his career, is it better? I think statistically, well, it is.
Yeah.
And better than Tom Brady. I don't know what he's going to go on and do in the future. He's only 28 years old. So, I think, barring something unforeseen, a lot of football left. But I also would like this story. They do a parade for Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
Just like they do for the Super Bowl MVP at Disney, right?
That's right.
Nobody's ever had both parades
No.
as Irrelevant and as Super Bowl MVP.
That's a good point.
And Brock Purdy, look, he can't help this. He still looks like he needs his ID checked.
He does. He does look like a child. No, I mean, it would be an unbelievable story. I mean, going from Mr. Irrelevant to Super Bowl champion, and I don't care what you have to say about it. If
he might even get with the, if he doesn't have the right credential on at media day, he may get his ID checked.
Might get stopped. Who are you, and where do you think you're going? And
like the kicker down in New Orleans.
That's right. And so no, I mean, it's just a great story, and so I wouldn't mind hearing the what would be of the debates after if the Chiefs won, and the debate's not with just Mahomes, but that team in general. And then, on the other side, I would not mind seeing Mr. Irrelevant go on and be the quarterback to win a Super Bowl. It would be incredible.
That Steelers-Cowboys, when they rematched, they played in Super Bowl 10, and then a few years later in Super Bowl 13. 13 was famous for the Jackie Smith drop. I don't know if the Cowboys would have won that day, but it was definitely going to get them back in the game.
Yeah.
But Super Bowl 10, man, it had it all. And for this radio station to have had the honor to go to 5 Super Bowls and be on Radio Row that week, and we've all had a chance to have him on, the late, great Gil Brandt, and he would tell that story about in Super Bowl 10, one NFL catch ever for a touchdown for a wide receiver, Percy Howard from Austin Peay University, and he did not play football in college. Gil Brandt scouted him, watching him play basketball, and signed him, and he comes up with one career catch for a touchdown in that Super Bowl, and then got hurt the next offseason and never got a chance to have a career.
Yeah, I mean, not a bad stat line. Unfortunate.
And what an eye for talent.
Yeah, honestly, it's
and he would, and Gil Brandt would tell the story that he would always sign players that had never played football.
Oh wow, yeah.
Just athletes,
yeah.
and to see what he could get out of. I think the famous defensive back Cornell Green never played college football, and then was great with the Cowboys. But he the basketball coach Lon Kruger did not play football at Kansas State. Was a good point guard for Jack Hartman's Wildcats and played against the Tigers and Larry Finch in '73 Midwest Regional Finals.
Oh wow!
They drafted him.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting concept, and it does not pan out as much as they get drafted, but when it does,
it works, though,
it's an incredible story, and it's really
and
cool to see.
He also would tell all the position changes. Cowboys '70s defensive back Charlie Waters, great defensive back, played wide receiver in college at Clemson.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The eye for talent. I mean, to be able to. I mean, it's tough to get someone to buy in first off to a position change, especially that late. But that's. But
incredible. I think we'll have a good Super Bowl. We're in a run of great Super Bowls. I mean, just for so long we were not. Most of the '80s were just the NFC pounding the AFC.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I don't lean one way or the other in terms of who I'm for. I don't lean one way or the other on who I think is going to win. I just think it's going to be a really, really solid game.
The Andy Reid retiring story will take over
next
week.
Will. Yes, it 100% will, and kind of the same thing that we talk about with a lot of great coaches of, having that opportunity to go out on top and you win the Super Bowl. You can't go out any better than coming off a Super Bowl victory. And so, I think it is enticing for some people.
And we're going to have the big off-the-field story next week.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been, but I imagine you could get in a lot of trouble in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, no, it's you don't have to look for trouble in Vegas.
A lot of cameras too.
A lot, especially Super Bowl week in Vegas. There's a lot of cameras. Brett, I don't know if you saw this before we get to a break, but Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones down in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl was asked today about if he would be willing and able to work with a guy like Bill Belichick, and his response was, "No doubt, he's one of my closest friends." So,
Mike McCarthy, I would not start 0-3.
I would not. It sounds like he is looking for a reason, and just answering it like that. No doubt, he's a friend of mine. Is, if I'm Mike McCarthy, not an answer I wanted to hear.
And the last thing Mike McCarthy wants to hear is, "Hey, Mike, we've decided to bring in Bill Belichick as an advisor."
Yeah. Oh, even worse. Hey, Mike, we just need you
don't mind, do you?
No, you need someone around.
I'm glad you didn't.
He's looking for a job, and we'll throw him in there.
It's a good thing you didn't mind.
That's right. Yes, that's right. So something to definitely keep an eye on, though. And we know Jerry Jones is. He's certainly not known.
I don't see that ever working.
No, but Brett, Jerry Jones is not known for being one to make headlines. I mean, he's just
he
never wants to be in the headlines.
He tries to shy away from it.
He sure does, and so no surprise at all when I saw that headline today from Jerry Jones. But certainly a lot of NFL news going around, and now kind of going back to what we started the segment on, Brett. Only one opening in the NFL, and a lot of openings
Magic.
to start with.
How are you, Coach?
Oh, Magic. He's just looking for the perfect hire, and we'll get
Magic,
that tweet.
Bob Myers. I think they're trying to hire a basketball coach with the Commanders.
New Washington Commanders coach Steve Kirk. Yeah, welcome in.
That's a bold move.
Yeah, really.
Phil Jackson.
No, that would be something. No, but only one opening. I'm kind of surprised they filled this fast, and we'll see what the Commanders do, what move they make, and then we'll have them all filled, and we'll be talking about the offseason for all of these teams. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll get to Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78, that's Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
Make your next grill your last with the Big Green Egg at East Memphis Ace. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Ready to cook in only 15 minutes with cook temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between. Change your at-home cooking experience for life with our unmatched, authentic wood-fired grill flavor that has our customers raving. Get your Big Green Egg and all our accessories at East Memphis Ace on the corner of South White Station and Quince Road.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today comes from the NBA, and it has to do with the New York Knicks. Oh, man.
I told you they were popular.
Knicks, they're popular.
Already been
right
a discussion
now.
point on PTI today.
I love it, Brett. I mean, they read my mind. Maybe I'm the problem, Brett. Maybe I'm going to be the one that starts hyping up this Knicks and Lakers game. But I saw this stat last night, and I had to bring it up. My big number is 100.1. I got a decimal in there. Glad Johnny's not here.
I got a decimal today, too.
Wow. We're both taking advantage of the decimals with Johnny not here.
Johnny
So the Knicks in December allowed 124.8 points per game during that month of December.
Speaking of Matador defense.
Yeah, really. This month, in January, they've allowed just 100.1 points per game. That is the largest drop in points per game allowed, negative 24.7, from one month to the next in NBA history, with a minimum of 10 games in each month. The next closest, so theirs was a minus 24.7. The second closest is 17.7. So the second closest is still 7 points per game, and that was the Spurs. From between November and December, they saw a minus 17.7 drops in points allowed points per game between November and December of 1987.
That would have been David Robinson's rookie year, wouldn't it?
That's right. I'm pretty sure it would have been, yeah.
Yeah, in that stretch. What's the Knick improvement attributable to?
It's a great question. I have no answer for you.
Because they didn't go out and get David Robinson to throw him in the post.
And actually, quite the opposite. The Knicks have been dealing with a lot of injuries, especially in the front court. So I really don't know.
My big number, it has a decimal point as well. It's 3.8. We're going to round up and just call it 4 because I don't want to get in trouble with Johnny with him away and both of us going decimal point. So that in Penny Hardaway's 5 years as head coach at Memphis, they've entered the AAC tournament seeded with an average of 3.8. Let's call it 4 in the postseason tournament. It has been 2019 a 5 seed, 2020 a 6 seed, 2021 a 3 in 2022, and a 2 last year. They've never entered the AAC as the 1 seed. The only 2 was last year, and they won the tournament last year. And that adds up to 3.8. Let's round up to 4.
Yeah.
Today they are 6th in the AAC standings. Starting tonight, a lot of things have to be worked on, and winning corrects a lot of it. They've got to get that seed in better shape. There is no point. There's no point in the year that we thought Memphis would be 6th seed in any AAC standings, and tomorrow's February 1.
Yeah, no, it's hard to believe, and I think if you had told me, end of January, the Tigers are outside of the top 3 in conference, I would say you're crazy. I think a lot of people top 2, but, maybe I give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe a sneaky team sneaks up in there or whatever. But 6th, I mean, nobody had that.
Here are the 5 teams in front of them. Charlotte hadn't played them, will.
Right, yep.
FAU hadn't played them, will play them twice. Yep. USF, that kind of started a lot of this.
Sure did.
UAB Sunday afternoon, and North Texas hadn't played them yet. But that's the teams in front of Memphis in a year that I didn't think, other than maybe FAU, there wouldn't be much in between Memphis and the top.
No, I didn't either. And you listed those teams, and all of those teams Memphis will see, but a couple of those that they've already played and lost to. I mean, you look at that game you mentioned against South Florida. That's kind of what started a lot of this. That's what certainly started the losing. And then your last game out was UAB, and you'll see North Texas in a big game. SMU right behind you, and you said a pretty good net for them. So I mean, it's a tricky spot the Tigers are in.
And Brian, I want to remind people, when the day Penny Hardaway was hired, I made an on-air vow, on and off air, and I kept it. 3 years, won't say a negative word, won't question anything, will understand that you hadn't been a college head coach.
Sure.
I know the story. I knew what he was coming into. It wasn't completely devoid of any talent. In fact, I think all the coaches at the University of Memphis have inherited worse situations.
Absolutely.
Than he inherited. It wasn't great by any means, but it wasn't as bad as some got the draw of. And I kept it. And after 2019, it was nothing to criticize after 2019. I thought it ended pretty well with Jeremiah. After 2020, COVID, it wasn't much to criticize. If it hadn't been for COVID, that 6th seed, and I don't think going anywhere in that tournament would have been plenty to criticize.
Yeah.
2021, the third year of my vow not to criticize, it wasn't a lot to criticize. I wasn't as enamored by the NIT as some, and still not. And now after that, I think there have been things to rightly question and criticize.
Sure, absolutely. And, right now, back to Tigers being in 6th right now. I mean, I don't think anybody would have had that at the beginning of the season, or really at the end of non-conference play. I mean, the team was rolling at the end of non-conference play, and I think that was when expectations were even higher than what they were before the season started. And now you look up 3 losses in a row, got to right the ship tonight at home against Rice. We need to get to a break, but before we do that, I know a lot of people, maybe you're not able to make it to the game tonight or just looking for a night out, place to watch the game. I've got the spot for you. It's Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley, right behind 117 Prime. Open from 4 to 11 Wednesday through Saturday and 4 to 8 on Sundays. I know nobody likes a loud bar where you can't hear yourself think, much less talk, but that's the opposite of Bell Tavern. I wouldn't even consider it a sports sports bar. It's just a low-key bar that you can enjoy a game at with your friends. Start the night with a gourmet burger and one of their great cocktails in that quiet, dimly lit bar. And it's not just the hamburgers. Bell Tavern has the best bar food in Memphis and the coldest beer in the city. You know 117 Prime, just walk through that door, through the dining room, and you're at the best bar in town. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580. That's 901-249-6580. Or go online to their website, belltavern.com. Well, let's wrap up our second hour. On the other side, we're talking more college basketball with Kevin Sweeney.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who specialize in saving the day and for the ones who've mastered the art of keeping business moving. We offer industrial-grade supplies for every industry with same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders, all backed by real people ready to help. So you can get the right answers and products right when you need them. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Let's make this the new year to drive your new Kia home from Gossett Kia on the Pike. Bobby J's waiting to put you in a new Kia today. So come hit the road with 41 MPG Highway in 2024 Kia Forte LXS, $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Or get 7 passenger seating in a 2023 Kia Sorento LX. We Gossett at $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. And if you want your new ride to be a 2024 Kia Telluride LX, we Gossett at $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So get to Gossett Kia today, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee. Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21590. Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33010. Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38705. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Here comes that traffic out of the Midtown area on 240 southbound from South Parkway down to Norris. 55 still wants to run a little bit slow northbound in that construction zone between McLemore and South Parkway. It's really heavy over here now on 240 eastbound, either getting off there onto Bill Morris Parkway or especially continuing on 240 east. It's really crawling up by Poplar to Walnut Grove. 40 east remains slow over here at White Station trying to get on that flyover, all because they started some road work a little bit earlier and it just timed out with rush hour traffic now. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your Valentine's Day headquarters. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk college basketball like he does every single Wednesday afternoon. Kevin Sweeney from CBB Central joins us now. Kevin, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start like we usually do with the Tigers. They've now lost 3 straight games following the loss on Sunday in Birmingham against UAB. This team is just really struggling in all aspects, and I think a lot of people are keeping their eye on the potential seed line for this team as we start getting closer and closer to March. I know you hosted and helped out with the Field of 68 and their bracketology show, and on that show they had Memphis as a 9 seed playing St. John's in the first round in the 9-8 game. If they were to win that, they would get Purdue in the second round. What is the biggest takeaway for you when you've watched this Tiger team over the last couple of weeks, and what do you make of their tournament seed line currently?
Yeah, look, I think the thing that's frustrating is that, the first 2 losses should have been a wake-up call, right? Mm-hmm. You had a week after South Florida and Tulane to reset, to refocus, to re-energize, and to turn around. And look, UAB's talented. That's not an easy place to play on the road, but to turn around and turn the ball over 22 times, to give up 16 offensive rebounds, right? Like, those things cannot happen, right? You don't win many basketball games when you do those 2 things. And so I think that speaks to kind of a lack of focus, lack of effort, maybe a lack of seriousness to the situation that Memphis is in. And they've dug themselves a bit of a hole here quickly. They have, still a solid resume. I still think they're a tournament team as of today. As you said, I think that 8-9 range is probably about right at the moment. But that's an area of the bracket that I think Memphis has wanted to escape all year, right? I think you look back at the last couple of years and say, oh wow, they're playing really well. They have an opportunity to make some noise, and just ran into such a difficult portion of the bracket, right? Obviously, 2 years ago, beat Boise and have to play the overall number 1 seed in Gonzaga. This past year now. FAU, even if you had gotten past that, maybe the bracket opens up, but theoretically you would have had to play Purdue, again, one of the number 1 seed. Like that's not what you want to have to be walking into. So even if Memphis does right the ship this stretch, I think we'll look back on as being, somewhat damaging.
Yeah, I don't think teams need to be in the bracket against the 1 seed Purdue and hope that lightning strikes twice in back-to-back years and 3 times ever for 16-1. It may have opened up, so many around here, just kind of with that certainty of that Memphis was going to beat Tennessee. Tennessee fans all have that same certainty on the other side. That would have been anything but an easy game, but we'll never know because of the loss to FAU. How far is too far gone for Memphis? How many more losses can they take in the conference?
I think they have a little bit of room. I think they can take 3 losses, but you want those losses
3 more?
to be. I think they could take 3 more and still make the tournament, but they need to be on the road at SMU or on the road at FAU. They can't lose to Wichita State at home. Right. They can't lose to Rice at home. Like they can't take any more bad ones. I think they can add a couple of quad 1 losses, especially if they get a couple of quad 1 wins back. Right, if they split. If I'm looking at the schedule here, right? They have at North Texas, at SMU, home FAU, at FAU. If you lost 2 of those in a conference tournament game, I think you'd be okay, but I think you'd wind up in that 8, 9, 10, maybe even 11 seed range.
What would losing at East Carolina do to you?
Huh. It would hurt, right? I mean, that's the problem. I think they've given away a lot of that buffer. Now, I think if you're Memphis, you're hoping maybe UAB can get back into quadrant 2 and maybe you have a little bit more pad again, but it's not really the way you want to be making the NCAA tournament, right? You don't want to sneak in because UAB was 134 instead of 137 or whatever they are.
We get very local centric, very myopic. Is there another team out there kind of suffering the same woes as Memphis that maybe 2-3 weeks ago in good shape and the last few weeks have just kind of cratered them?
I think the decline for Memphis has been more precipitous. I think part of that is we don't necessarily see that because they're playing good teams. I think the team I would point to similarly would be Villanova, a team obviously that Memphis played earlier in the year. They've lost now 6 of 7. But, you look at all those games, they're games that you could lose, right? You lost to Marquette last night. All right, it happens. You lost on the road to Butler. All right, I mean, Butler's pretty good. All of those results combined present a problem for Villanova. But individually, you're not looking and saying, wow, they lost to that team. Yeah. They lost to that team, right? So I think Memphis is somewhat unique in that regard. Villanova, though, in a very difficult spot at 11-10. Very much back against the wall now to try to get to the NCAA tournament. And boy, what a failure that would be with the talent on this roster and the amount of money spent. I mean, it has been widely reported. They spent $3 million to build this roster in the offseason. And you look around and the results don't back that up.
Yeah, no, they do not. You mentioned that Marquette and Villanova game, and Marquette dealing with some injuries. Tyler Kolek comes out and has an unbelievable game, 32 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists. When you look at this Marquette team, a big road victory for them. They're sitting at 16-5 right now on the season. How good is this Marquette team?
I still really like them. They haven't been quite as sharp offensively as they were a season ago, and part of that's just guys have regressed a little bit shooting the ball. I don't think it was sustainable for Tyler Kolek to be 40% from 3 last year. Right. Maybe not sustainable for some of their role players to shoot it as well as they shot it. And I think this year, it's been a little bit more challenging, but they're still really tough to defend because they have a great point guard. They have a big who can really pass, Inoso Ighodaro. They space it on the wing. They play really hard. They play really connected. And they've quietly started to figure things out again, winning 5 straight. They had a rough patch. They lost at home to Butler, started 2-3 in the league, kind of everyone waving the white flag. And I think Marquette has started to settle in. They're not as deep as they were a year ago. They've had some injuries that have really hurt them. Sean Jones, their backup point guard, kind of a heart and soul guy energy-wise. That loss has hurt. But I think this is a team that can push in the Big East, and if nothing else, I think will be a factor maybe in the second weekend come NCAA tournament time.
You would never get Texas Athletics Director Chris Del Conte to admit this, but he would take both of his head coaches back right now over what he has, wouldn't he?
I mean, it is unbelievable to kind of look back on, right? How the success that those two guys are having away from Austin. Now, look, I will say this. Roddy Terry deserves some credit. I kind of piled on after the 1-3 start. They bounced back well. They beat Baylor. They won at Oklahoma. They were really in that game on Monday against Houston, had a great opportunity to win against a great Houston team. So I give RT credit in that regard. But I still think bigger picture, you have some questions about the direction here. And if what Shaka did, look, Beard's situation is its own entity, but if what Shaka did wasn't good enough at Texas, I just don't see a world where Rodney Terry's able to do more than that. I think it feels inevitable that he'll be on the hot seat sooner rather than later. It's just a matter of, can he at least make the tournament this year and keep things at bay for the time being?
And down the stretch of that game Monday night between Houston and Texas, I'm watching it, and I'm just thinking massive coaching mismatch here.
100%, right? And look, I understand why Texas was in the position they were in terms of feeling like they had to hire Rodney Terry, but I think you felt it. What as soon as you made the move, when you really took a step back and you looked at the league, you're like, all right, who do we have the better coach than? We're Texas. We should have, the pick of the litter. Who do we have the better coach than in the Big 12 right now? Maybe a couple guys, but not many. And next year in the SEC, I'm not taking Rodney Terry over Bruce Pearl. I'm not taking him over Rick Barnes. I'm not taking him over John Calipari. I'm not taking him over Chris Beard. I'm not taking him over Chris Jans at Mississippi State, who I think done a tremendous job. So, Nate Oates, the list goes on. I think that's the real challenge.
Yeah, it goes on and on.
Right?
You got to get down to Jerry Stackhouse, really.
Look, at the end of the day, if Rodney Terry can recruit at an elite level, he has a chance. Anything less, I think it's going to be ugly pretty quickly.
All right, you mentioned the $3 million for the Villanova roster composition for this year and this year alone. Do you think these conversations are being had between AD, booster, collective head? We can't do both. We can't have big, expensive coach and big, expensive roster. And I bring that up for just somebody to make the unbelievable offer to Kelvin Sampson at the end of this year. And it would have to be a place that could do both. Do you think that push and pull is being discussed?
I think it is. Look, I think the faucet will run out eventually. I think for now, there's kind of an energy among most booster bases and an opportunity. It feels like, we can get great players. I think, look, the reason why people donate insane amounts of money to college sports programs is that they want to feel like they're part of it.
Access.
Right? There's a rare opportunity to I get to be part of trying to build a program.
To go on that team charter.
Right. You're playing fantasy basketball, and it's awesome. But at some point, people are going to get tired of spending the amount of money that they're spending, especially if it's just producing, mediocre transfer portal products, right? I think teams are going to have to be smarter with their money. I do think that the biggest thing remains the coach. And at the end of the day, if you don't have that guy, it's not going to matter how much you spend. I think that's what Villanova is running into with Kyle Neptune. He's just not Jay Wright. And that's not an expectation. Maybe it's a fair expectation, but he's nowhere close. And when the standard is all of a sudden national championships and you're 11 and 10 in year 2, it can get ugly in a hurry.
Yeah, it can get real ugly. We're talking to Kevin Sweeney. He joins us every week to talk college basketball. Follow him on Twitter at CBB_Central. Well, one of the games of the night last night, North Carolina traveling down to Atlanta to face Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech at home gets the 74-73 win. I thought it was a super intriguing game on both sides. On one side with North Carolina, R.J. Davis scores 28. You don't get much else from anybody else on that team. Harrison Ingram, Cormac Ryan combined for 6 for 28 from the field. Elliot Cadeau gets 5 fouls in the second half. They don't get much from their bench. And on the other side, Georgia Tech, Damon Stoudemire's first season. The record doesn't look good, but you can see them getting better. They've got this freshman point guard that played really well last night. And you look up, and Georgia Tech now has 3 wins in conference over North Carolina, Duke, and Clemson. What did you make of that game last night?
That's a program builder win for Damon. Sure. What a tremendous victory, something that he can use to sell to the fan base, to co-contribute from an NIL standpoint to these players, right? They're playing 2 freshmen huge roles. Bayan Dongo, who was limited yesterday, and then Nate George, the point guard you mentioned, who really has come out of nowhere. This guy was like an unranked recruit 6 months ago, and now he's a starting point guard in the ACC. That's monstrous for them, and I think they will gain some pretty substantial momentum in recruiting. I think guys will want to play for Damon once he shows the proof of concept, and wins like that are certainly that. Now, for Carolina, like I think this game is a good indicator of some of the limitations there. Like, this is not as talented a team, even as last year's Carolina team that obviously missed the tournament. They're a team that has great role allocation, but when you do that, sometimes like you're going to have nights like that where guys aren't clicking, other than RJ, who's your unquestioned superstar. Baycott has not been like the dominant post presence he was early in his career. I think he's just kind of taking a lot of miles on his body and is worn down. He's playing a different role as well stylistically. They don't post him as much. I think for spacing purposes. So I just think they're a little bit more vulnerable to games like this on the road. End of the day, they're 9-1 in the league for a reason. They're really good. They've played a great defensive schedule the last month. I mean, they've been unbelievable on that end of the floor. But at the end of the day, like that's a loss you don't want to have. I mean, that's Georgia Tech team. They've been competitive, but 2-7 in the league for a reason. That's a game you got to find a way to win on the road.
How good is the ACC, Kevin? I mean, when I saw Clemson here back right before Christmas, I thought a real good team. I look at the ACC standings right now, and they're 10th.
Yeah, look, I mean, Clemson has been somewhat disappointing here lately and has kind of opened themselves up back towards the bubble. I think still in good position, but, Brad Brownell has a way of always finding his way somewhat adjacent to the hot seat. So here we are again. Look, I think the league has two really good teams in North Carolina and Duke and a bunch of decent teams. And the question is, like, do those decent teams wind up settling in all as bubble teams? Do some of them will settle in as tournament teams? Or do they all wind up on the outside looking in? Someone will get in because someone has to win the games, right? Like, I've seen John Rothstein tweet about the potential for a 2-bid ACC. Like, to me, that's ludicrous. Yeah. Like, there's zero chance that happens because whether it's Wake Forest or Florida State or Virginia or Clemson, like, someone's going to get on a tear. They're going to win 5 or 6 straight. Like, it would be almost impossible to engineer a scenario otherwise. But I'm not sure there's a team outside of Duke and Carolina. Clemson's probably the one you'd say most confidently that you're considering a lock tournament. I mean, Miami now 5-5 in the league. They've got a lot of work to do to get back in the mix. Wake has to win on the road starting tonight at Pitt. NC State probably not quite good enough. Virginia Tech probably not quite good enough. Florida State has been very good lately, but struggled in the non-conference. So a lot of those teams have questions to answer here in the final month and a half of the season and have some work to do to gain ground for the selection committee's purposes.
Kevin, you just mentioned talking about that North Carolina and Georgia Tech team about North Carolina being on the road. I saw this stat Friday, and it's gotten a lot of traction since it's posted. The numbers have changed a little with all the games that have happened since then. But Brandon Ramsey tweeted out AP top 10 teams are now, as of Friday, 17-27. That's 38.6% this season on the road against unranked opponents. I think that's up a little bit. I think it's around about 40%, 41% right now. Really hard to win on the road, especially this season. What do you credit that to? Is it the transfer portal and just seeing so many different guys at new places from different levels? What do you credit this kind of stat to?
Yeah, look, I think it's a little bit of everything, right? I think every time there's like a shocking result, I think we did this last year with March Madness on all the upsets. Like everyone wants to be like, oh, it's the portal, oh, it's NIL. Like, I think it's the portal. I think it's NIL. It's coaching carousel turnover from at the biggest programs. I think it's conference realignment. Some of these programs not being as familiar with one another. Like I truly think it's a little bit of everything. I think honestly it's student engagement. Like I look around college basketball, there's some incredible atmosphere, and I give it credit. I mean, look, there's so much like narrative out there. Oh, college kids today don't care about live sports. They don't care about X. They want to watch TikTok all day. Like I look around the country and I see places that aren't traditionally great atmospheres turning into them. Ole Miss last night, a great example. Northwestern, my alma mater has become one of the toughest places to play in the Big Ten. I never thought I would say that when I was a student 3 years ago, right? Like, I think that probably is maybe the factor that no one's talking about. It's like, these atmospheres are just really tough to play in right now.
Yeah, they are, including some in the Pac-12. Now, I know it was UCLA, but the crowd at the USC, at the home game for USC, they don't always even get that even when UCLA goes crosstown.
It's wild, especially given the fact that USC has struggled so much, right? And all the buzz and excitement about this team has fizzled, and people still turned out, right? Like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's marketing department's doing a good job or kids just wanting to be a part of something. But I mean, look, I think there's so many think pieces about like where the state of college basketball or the state of college sports is. Like, yes, you can get bogged down in the weeds and worry about NIL and worry about how X is changing, Y is changing, but like it's hard to feel like the thing's collapsing when you turn on the TV every night to see the product on the floor and the fan bases and the commitment, across college basketball to, people wanting to watch, right? Like, I don't know what the ratings numbers are year over year. I just watch the games and I see a really, really high level product and a really engaged kind of national fan base right now.
Kevin, I'm with you. I watch the games, and boy, don't we have the places to go watch them forever. And I think it made them as the network that it was and that it became. College basketball was right there, planting the seed at ESPN, late 70s, early 80s, and the popularity of Dick Vitale. But what Fox is doing now in their coverage of it, that Fox pregame football show is so good. The basketball is just as good. The games, the announcers, I love Tim Brando. I think Fox is really making it to where more people can see kind of games that they might not normally watch on a Saturday afternoon, even on a Friday night in some of their primetime games. And I'm going to give credit to the CW.
Look, I think it's been awesome. I think Fox's investment in Friday night college basketball has been great. The Big East, the Mountain West, Fox's deal with them, I think, has been great in terms of exposure. You mentioned CW, things like that to get a little extra exposure. I will say, too, I mean, look, I don't think any fan loves the move to streaming service galore, but, like, I think the product that Peacock is putting out for the Big Ten looks awesome. Like, I think the presentation is great. The broadcasters are great. Benetti's incredible. Robbie Hummel, obviously, does a tremendous job. Good friends with Robbie. I truly think that, like, people, once they get over the hump of, like, man, I have to pay $20 for this, like, I think people are going to really enjoy what they're watching on Peacock. And, I think, I hope that college basketball can be a vehicle to help, the entire college sports industrial complex grow across different networks, right? Like, at the end of the day, when we complain that every realignment decision gets made about football, it's because football is the thing making the money. Well, if college basketball starts making money, we'll get decisions made by college basketball. So I see it as a good sign, obviously. It's bumpy. It's not the smoothest thing in the world to kind of figure out, but I think more good than bad overall.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kevin, what does your week look like this week? We going to any games?
This weekend, off to Wisconsin, Purdue, and Madison. Huge game at the top of the Big Ten. I'm going to stay home Saturday. Just too many good ones to zoom in on one individually.
We could get you to Memphis Saturday, and these days are kind of behind me now, Kevin. But there was a time, 12 noon at FedEx Forum, game end about 2:20, 2:30. Get in the car, get to Oxford for 5 o'clock tip for Auburn and Ole Miss.
I try to find doubleheader opportunities as best I can. I know you guys saw me do the Carolina Duke doubleheader, so maybe one day I'll try to back them up back to back.
We'll have to do it. Well, Kevin, as always, thanks so much for joining us. We'll do it again next week.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you, Kevin. Kevin Sweeney with us talking college basketball. And Brian, man, that used to be wheelhouse for me.
Oh, yeah.
Those days are over. I can't do that anymore.
I believe it. I mean, that's tough.
Not after long football seasons,
no.
But this year my college basketball going, something had to go. So I had to back up on something, and I've been to a Tiger game, a Ole Miss game, and I'm going to go to Fayetteville to the Arkansas Vanderbilt game in a few weeks. But
how about that?
And the NCAA tournament. But I mean, it used to be. Gosh, it used to be with tournaments, 40 games a year.
Woo! Man.
And those days, I can't do that. I didn't ask. We'll give it a week, but there's a lot of conversation of interest between Minnesota and Eric Musselman.
Interesting.
And that story will grow, and the connection. His dad, just certified legend in Minneapolis, both pro and college, coaching the Gophers and coaching the Timberwolves early in their franchise. And there's a lot of stories out there about his interest there. I'll just say this, and I think they do want to keep him. if Arkansas wants to keep Eric Musselman, they're not losing him to Minnesota.
No. They're not going to lose him to Minnesota. I wouldn't mind him going. If he was on the move, I would not mind him going to Minnesota. But yeah, if Arkansas wants him bad enough, they can make it happen.
Louisville could come open, even maybe a retirement of Tom Izzo at Michigan State. I don't know that, but maybe. I mean, just like, look, if Nick Saban retires, everybody's subject to be thinking about it.
Yep, that's right. Anybody can retire if Nick Saban retiring, and that Louisville job is certainly, I think, going to be open at the end of the year, and there's going to be a lot of names thrown at that.
Does Jay Wright want to jump back in? Does Mike Woodson retire at IU? So, we'll see. We'll ask about that next week when we visit with Kevin. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Hewlett and Dunn Boot and Jean. They're on the historic square in Collierville. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, known for all the boots, but also for clothing, accessories, outerwear, and a cap for any team and for any season. Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, rubber boots, they've got you covered. Boots for every occasion at Hewlett and Dunn, from head to toe. They've got you covered with every brand imaginable, like Dan Post, Ariat, Anderson Bean, Filson. Whether for men or for women, you will enjoy the shopping experience there, and you will enjoy the historic square in Collierville. Men's and women's clothing, pants, jeans, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duckhead collection you'll find anywhere. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to come by 111 North Center Street or go to HewlettDunn.com, but they prefer you to come by and visit with them and go in that store and feel the family atmosphere on the square in Collierville. Sunglasses, boot care products, hats, and every area team snapback cool hat you can think of. For the Tigers, get that hat and wear it to FedEx Forum tonight. Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and the Razorbacks. The travel bag selection, it is top-notch for any travel you're getting ready to do. HewlettDunn.com, but come by and visit and say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn.
Well, let's get to a break. On the other side, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, folks. The Chevy Sheriff with good news for car and truck buyers. The Sunrise Chevy Ranch has acres of new Chevys and GM certified in stock and ready for immediate delivery. A $6 million used car inventory with cars and trucks for every budget, and a lot specializing in cars and trucks under $99.95. If you've been turned down by another dealer, see us at Sunrise. We specialize in secondary financing, and Sunrise is the home of guaranteed credit approval. Immediate financing available. Cars and trucks may not be free, but at least they're affordable at Sunrise. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswangerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Top 25 ranked Memphis basketball is back at FedEx Forum Wednesday, January 31st at 7 o'clock for the Memphis State throwback game. Come out as we throw it back to the days of the Mid-South Coliseum. Memphis State t-shirts and exclusive Penny Hardaway poster giveaway for the first 3,000 fans. You don't want to miss out on all the fun of Memphis State Throwback Night. Purchase your tickets at GoTigersGo.com/tickets.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. There's a little extra traffic volume over here on Sam Cooper going outbound, passing Perkins and Highland because they're trying to avoid that delay on 40 East over here at White Station. It's also very heavy today. I mean, really slow at times on 240 East from Bill Morris Parkway, crawling sometimes up by Poplar all the way up to Walnut Grove. They started doing some road work over here today, trying to repair some of these crazy potholes, and it just timed out with rush hour traffic mixing with that. Traffic's on the increase even more in the construction on 55 northbound between Macklemore and South Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry, they are your Valentine's Day headquarters located 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So how you like me now? 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 How you like me now?
Welcome back into Sports Time. We got a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show, and we're only a couple hours away from Tigers and Rice tonight. FedEx Forum over on ESPN Plus. Greg Gaston will be doing the game on ESPN Plus
with John Albright.
That's right. So you can listen to Greg and John tonight. But Brett, you were telling me during the break, Tigers' last loss to Rice was 2011.
Only lost to Rice.
Only lost to Rice.
According to the Tigers game notes, Tigers lead the series all time 9-1. Last Rice win February 19th, 2011, 67-52 in Houston. That was Josh's second year, because I told you off there, I don't remember us going crazy over it. Now I know why. Because that was Josh's second year, and I gave him almost the 3-year, really into the fourth year. But he started winning. It wasn't constant, unmitigated criticism and pressure on Josh, just as it was not on Coach Hardaway for most of his tenure. Here's what changes it. When you don't advance in the NCAA tournament, you start losing too often to people you shouldn't lose to.
Sure. And I think, going back to, and Kevin brought it up as well, I mean, Brad, we talked all offseason about this has got to be the year where you get out of that 8-9 game. And now it looks
second weekend. That was the stated goal.
And it seems like everybody now has them back in that 8-9 game. And so it's just I think it's disappointing to be sitting here thinking of going right back to the 8-9 game.
And it makes people mad at any criticism, but when they're winning and support and praise is there, we give it. When they don't, then I'm not. If you want a cheerleader, I'm not it.
Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, right now, this Tiger team is just not playing well at all. And, whatever reason you want to give for why they're not playing well, they're just not. And so I need to see something tonight against a team like Rice.
I swear I'm not trying to crack too hard on anybody, but I think Sports Information in the game notes may have copy and pasted UAB's information under Rice, because in that section, Memphis opponent comparison, it's got the Tigers record 15-5. It's got Rice 12-7. That was UAB. Yeah. And then for all the numbers after, it's got Rice net is 148. Rice's net is 248. In 2 days they haven't dropped 100 spots.
No. They have
but that happened. I'm not cracking on that. But I was seeing that and I thought, something's not right here. But I don't remember any outrage over the 2011 loss. But it will be tonight. But they're not going to lose.
That's right. They're gonna win this game. They're gonna right that ship. And I just went back because I was curious. What was the score of that game? What happened around that game in 2011? A loss on the road, 67-52. Next game out at home, a 69-58 win over Houston. So, bounced back nicely after that that loss twice, but then lost to UTEP the game after that. Pretty bad, 74-47. Holy cow! I certainly don't remember
that was Josh's second team that won the automatic bid, didn't they? Didn't they win the conference tournament?
Oh, Brett, I remember this season
down
very
in El Paso,
well.
right?
Down in El Paso against UTEP in the championship
against
game.
Tim Floyd.
An early morning championship game. It was like 10:30 in the morning. They won that. I went to Memphis baseball after that. Oh, you're so right about that. What a great. And then you mentioned, we were talking about this after that, played Arizona really close in the first round. Yeah, a 2-point loss to Arizona in the first round of the tournament.
And then I offered up maybe some of the worst advice ever given to anybody, and I'm sure Josh, as he did with a lot of people, fanned out to a lot of people their opinion on this subject. So that night, the Tigers had lost on a Friday, I think, to Arizona.
Sure did, yeah.
And I texted him, tough loss, good year. You got a lot to build and grow on. Recruiting really well.
Sure.
I get no answer that night. The next morning, I keep my phone on silent constantly because on there all the time. I keep it on silent. The next morning, like at 7:20, the next morning on Saturday morning, I hear my phone jiggling by my bed. I'm not up yet,
right?
And I look and I had it in my phone book, CJP, Coach Josh Patrick. And I answer it, and he goes, hey, thanks for the text last night. He goes, I got the Oklahoma job. What do you think about it?
Oh.
And some of the worst advice ever. I said, no, Josh, you don't want to do that. You're going to the Final Four next year at Memphis.
Oh, no.
I said, you don't want to get at a football school and get devoured, by the football monster. And while we were visiting, and I said, Josh, but I would tell you something you do need to do. I said, is your dad still handling, all your contract stuff? He said, yeah. I said, it's time you got a real agent. I said, I'm not running your dad down, but you need a real agent. And I said, the best in the world.
Right down the street
at Poplar and Ridgeway.
That's right.
But boy, what terrible advice!
Man.
I'm sure Josh probably sent the same phone call and text out to 50 people.
Sure.
I wasn't anything special.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Wow. Well,
he ought to hate. So they hired Lon Kruger. He ought to hate me for that advice.
Man. Oh man. Wow. That is that's hilarious. But yeah, no, I'm starting to remember this season very, very well. Now that I'm looking at
I know who the GOAT, and I don't mean greatest of all time, was in that game too.
Against Arizona?
Yeah, that was the Wesley Witherspoon.
Was it Spoon? I love Spoon. How about this?
Don't.
Oh, man. Spoon, speak of the devil, couple years ago, a long time ago now, I was in high school when it came out, but Kyrie Irving starred in a movie, and Wesley Witherspoon made an appearance in it, playing basketball, and I was shocked. And I was in the theater.
Right?
Yeah, it was Uncle Drew. And he was one of the guys that was like on the opposing team or something like that. I almost jumped out of my seat in the movie theater and yelled, "It's Spoon!" And I didn't. I held back, but I was shocked.
Well, and for that same advice that he was recruiting so well, here's how Coach Penny Hardaway is recruited at Memphis. Okay. I went last night. I'm using Rivals as my reference, and anytime I mention Rivals, somebody goes, "Oh, you need to use 247." If I mention 247,
you gotta use Rivals.
Here's Rivals. I don't care which one. They're all about the same. It's pre-med or pre-law. It's all about the same. So since Penny Hardaway has been head coach at Memphis, signing high school players, this is not transfer. This is not anything else. It's just high school players. He has signed 27 players. Okay. He has signed 5 5-stars, 14 4-stars, 7 3-stars, and 1 2-star. Okay. Jaden Hardaway, his son, the only 2-star that he has signed. 5 of those players, 4 of the 5 5-stars have made it to the NBA. 1 4-star has made it to the NBA. No, I'm sorry, 2 4-stars. Lester Quinones and 1 3-star in Josh Minot made it to the NBA. So here are the 5-stars that he signed. Precious Achua, James Wiseman, speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
Musa Cisse, I think it speaks for itself. Yeah. Amani Bates and Jalen Duren. And 4 of those 5 have made it to they made it to the NBA. Wow. Here's the 4-stars. Antoine Jones, Tyler Harris, Alex Lomax, Boogie Ellis, Lester Quinones, Damian Ball, DJ Jeffries. He had 3 last night. Malcolm Dandridge, help me with the pronunciation. Sam Onu.
That's like he doesn't go by both those names.
Just Sam Onu.
Sam Onu, yeah.
Jordan Nesbitt, Ashton Hardaway, J.J. Taylor, Mikey Williams, Carl Sharonfont. 3 stars, David Winget. Is that correct pronunciation?
Correct. Yeah, nailed it.
Isaiah Maurice, Ryan Boyce, Amon Rand, John Camden, Jonathan Lawson, Josh Minot. And the 2-star we mentioned was Jaden Hardaway.
Yeah. Huh.
That's the player signed.
Huh. Interesting. Most of I was going to say most of the 5 stars worked out, but one of those 5 stars had to transfer after the season. One of the 5 stars you got 3 games out of.
Right.
So I guess 2 of them panned out.
Bates and Cisse, Bus. Certainly here.
Yeah, certainly here. I'd say out of those 5 stars, you got 2 played well for you, I would say.
And then my theory about whether it's 4-star or the moniker of Mr. Basketball. Who's not?
A lot of Mr. Basketballs. A ton
of
Mr.
Basketballs.
A lot of 4-stars.
And a lot of 4-stars. I mean, Tyler Harris, a 4-star.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, Brett, is nowadays, I see a lot of guys, and it's no offense to them, but I'll use some of my buddies I played with in high school. I'll use them as example. I had a lot of friends that were rated a 3-star, and they would go find somewhere that had them a 4-star. I remember one person in particular that went and found himself as a 4-star.
Just go shopping.
And put it on his Twitter and was like, hey, I'm a 4-star. And I was like, you're a 3-star. But, whatever. I don't give out stars, so, just go show it in college, I guess.
And, there's just no value for any 2-star.
Right. Yeah, no, it's certainly
And then
not.
some of those 3-stars, again, Josh Minot's the best 3-star player?
Yeah, and what's he? I guess he's in the G League right now, but didn't give you much while he was here.
Next to nothing.
Super raw when he was here. Not a ton of those guys have really panned out.
And if you want to go do the research at 247, go ahead.
Sure, go right ahead.
I bet it won't be much different.
No, I'm sure it will be very similar. I would say I'd be shocked if stars were differ on more than a couple of those guys.
And Boogie Ellis, one of those 4-stars.
Mr. Pac-12.
Mr. Basketball.
Mr. Basketball, that's right.
A lot of misters.
Just
never Mr. Consistent.
Never Mr. Memphis either, really, for most of those guys. So
and DJ Jeffries last night, every time he got the ball, it didn't scare me.
Yeah, no, it's interesting when you lay it out like that. And Brett, I think the biggest thing, and I went through and was looking at a lot of the guys, a lot of those guys you look at where they ended their career, not at Memphis for most of those guys. And so, or you could throw in, a guy like James Wiseman who was out after 3 games.
Well, you understand Precious Chua going pro, though.
Right. But I'm saying transferred out. A lot of those guys
I see.
transferred out of here and finished their career, whether it be 1 year, 3
Well,
2
of
year.
the 5-stars, Jalen Duren finished here. Yep. And Achua finished here.
Yeah.
Wiseman had the NCAA difficulties. Cisse didn't. Bates didn't.
Yeah.
4-stars, Jones didn't.
Nope. He's still playing.
Harris didn't.
Yeah.
Alex Lomax did. Boogie Ellis didn't. Quinones did.
Yep.
Ball Jeffries didn't.
Right.
Dandridge did. Onu Nesbitt didn't.
Right.
To be determined on Ashton Hardaway. J.J. Taylor and Mikey Williams didn't. And Carl Sharonfant, it doesn't feel good about it.
Yeah, so out of those guys, I think 5 that either went to the NBA or graduated from the University of Memphis. That is one to certainly keep an eye on.
And that debunks the whole he's recruiting at a high level.
Right.
Yeah, but we don't get to see get to senior night with anybody.
No, that's a good point. And senior night's dwindling at a lot of places. And if you do get a senior night, it's guys that have been there for 1 year or so. So it's certainly interesting.
We don't get to junior night with many.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your home still not warm enough or running out of hot water? Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, and we've got exciting news for you. Introducing Choate's Carrier Repair Buyback Program. If you've had HVAC or water heater repairs in the past year, you're in luck. Choate's will credit your repair costs up to $1,500 with a brand new HVAC or tankless water heater system. Yep, you heard right. Just bring your repair invoice from the last 365 days and get ready to upgrade your home's comfort. Say goodbye to those chilly nights and inconsistent heating. Choate's has you covered with various low-payment financing plans, making your upgrade more affordable than ever. Imagine a more efficient and reliable system keeping your family cozy all winter long. And here's the best part. This offer is a substantial boost towards a state-of-the-art heating solution. Ready to take the next step? Schedule your free estimate by calling 347-8086. And remember, turn to the experts with Choates and let our family serve your family.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? And if you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
All 650 acquisition fee, Forte RE722-812, MSRP 21590, Sorrento PG 242-710, MSRP 33010, Telluride RG 462822, MSRP 38705, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax title and license, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 1/31/2024 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hey, Jeff Allen, Happy New Year, dude. Hey, what's happening over there at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
Let's start the new year off right in your new Kia with 41 MPG Highway 2024 Kia Forte LXS $239 a month, $27.99 due at signing. Got a big family? Get a 2023 Kia Sorrento LX $319 a month, $34.99 due at signing. Plus a 2024 Kia Telluride LX $449 a month, $34.99 due at signing. All 36 months lease.
And every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
And stop by and see the all-new EV9 all-electric SUV. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMTMoriah.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman?
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, ESPN Plus had a story out today. College football coaching hot seat 2024. Names already on the list. On the hot seat right now, according to ESPN. Sam Pittman, Dave Aranda at Baylor, and Billy Napier at Florida. I think at least 2 of those we have talked about a lot, in Billy Napier and Sam Pittman. We know how much pressure they have going into the season. Keep an eye on is a section they have some names to note under there. Chip Kelly at UCLA, Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, Ryan Day at Ohio State, and Pat Narduzzi at Pitt. So already we're a while away from the start of college football. Still looking at hot seats.
May I add one more from the SEC to keep eye on?
Please.
Don't go 6-6, Hugh Freeze.
Ooh, that's really good point. We see how
they're not going to buy your act down there for long.
No, they're ready to win down there.
Better win 8.
Yes.
Better win 8 and better be prepared for the bowl game this year.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What I learned, can't trust Tennessee. Score 59 at home. Dalton Connect has 31 of those. They just play too tight. I said earlier, it just reminds me too much of the offensive grind, almost searching for the greatest shot ever, playing the rightest of right ways. Rick Barnes sometimes reminds me of Eddie Sutton like that, and it just makes it too tight, and at the end it can get away from you.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. What I could have done without, we talked about it earlier, and Shelby Mast was really he's the one guy I was holding out hope on with the Tigers on the 7 line, but it really looks like now the Tigers 8 and 9 are really the only places you can find them in terms of bracketology, and we talked about it.
And tonight won't improve it.
Yeah, no, it certainly won't. But we've been talking all year, all offseason, if this has got to be the year where they do not finish out on the 8 line or the 9 line. Got to finish higher. It looked like for most of the non-conference, even the start of the conference slate, that they were going to be able to do that. And now here we are going into February talking about being close to that bubble.
That 11-2 was just ideal, and now have played themselves into trouble, into tonight's must-win and must-look-good status. I could have done without the PGA Tour. They had the cash or the ability to tap into more cash the whole time. They got really fat and happy. They got comfortable, and now it shows with the biggest bank accounts in sports coming together and investing in the tour. They see the opportunity there for all those people to make a lot of money. I love how they described it, that it was a far profit group. Yeah, that's how they got that rich. They like profit. They like making money.
No, they absolutely love making profit. Where are you being tonight?
beam me to 33-15. The champs, Denver. I know all the coverage is about what LeBron had for lunch this afternoon, but there's more out there in the NBA world. I know there's a lot of the coverage for him being the champions of the in-season tournament. But give me Denver and Oklahoma City tonight, 32-15 Thunder. They're tied in the all-important loss column. It's 2 versus 3 right now in seeds.
Brett, that is a really good one, but I don't know if it tops the rematch of the NIT championship from last year, 8 o'clock tonight.
You can name any 2 teams, and I wouldn't know.
UAB on the road at North Texas, a conference matchup.
You're kidding me. That was the NIT final last year?
It sure was, and North Texas won it. They're giving out commemorative NIT championship tickets to students tonight.
Who won?
North Texas did. It was a huge night. It's going to be a huge night down for North Texas right now. And Brett, don't look now, but Georgia up 22-10 to start the game over Alabama.
Look at you, dogs. Look at you, Mike White. Would any kind of loss anytime soon for the Tigers? We don't do it, do we? We don't go to Barking Crow, do we?
Brett, I've already been.
You have?
Uh-huh.
I put in the search the other night. I put in Barking Dog
wrong one.
Came up with everything on Barking Dogs. And then I remembered, like, the next day it's Barking Crow. 10 NBA games tonight, 58 college basketball games. February 1st closing in on us. Tigers against Rice at FedEx Forum. Break out the scan count and have a good laugh when they say the box score is 10,000.
Ooh, yeah, it's going to be interesting tonight. 7 o'clock over on ESPN Plus down at FedEx Forum, Tigers and Rice. That's what everyone here locally will be paying attention to. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll do it again tomorrow afternoon.